lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third and final week of the group stage of EUR Summer 2020. My name is Atch, and I'm joined once again by Crafty for 4 fantastic matches. Crafty, what do you make of what we've got on tonight?
I mean, yeah, first of all, hi there, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for having me once again. And it's going to be pretty interesting, to be honest. I mean, we just checked the groups and checked the standings and found out about some interesting stuff. I mean, a lot has been happening since last Thursday, since day 2 of the group stage. Lancaster's been basically eliminated because they had to forfeit every remaining match, so they got disqualified. That is a big surprise, to be honest. I mean, we expected them to make it to the round of 16 at least. To the last round of 8. 16, it's 8. It's 8. It's 8. It's 6.
It's 6. The round of 6. Only 3 teams going through.
I did the math. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And nonetheless, and also some games had to be rescheduled, and very good games have been going on within the last 7 days already off stream.
Yes.
Like Rotterdam playing KitSC.
Not just playing KitSC.
Yeah, not just playing, also beating them. And that, to me, is a big surprise, and it also blew this group wide open again, because we saw Rotterdam last week playing UEA, and they actually lost to UEA, so it looked like Rotterdam was in a very bad spot right now. But now with Lancaster being disqualified and Rotterdam winning against Karlsruhe, they're so back in the game. I mean, they're on track to make top 3.
Definitely. And I mean, so it's worth remembering there's obviously quite a lot of maths to do at the moment, and it's complicated, like you were saying, by the fact that because of various scheduling conflicts, we've seen obviously Elemental Series close qualifiers, things like this, take away a lot of the matches from tonight that have been rescheduled to earlier in the week and have already been played. Like we said, Lancers are out. So that means every team is now only playing 6 matches in this group. This is Group B that we're starting with today, rather confusingly. But it means there's 6 matches. Rotterdam are done. They're on 5-1. It's set them up very nicely. I think, in fact, just looking at the standings here, that pretty much guarantees them in. There's only UEA are the only team with fewer losses. UEA are currently 5-0. So those two are sorted, because no one else is going to get close. You know, no one else has got the opportunity to get 5 wins anymore.
Yes.
Third spot, like you say, still open. Kit. Top performers in EUR Spring are 3-2, and they've still got UEA to play, which we'll be catching later tonight, and Darmstadt.
Yes,
nothing to be scoffed at. So that's going to be interesting for them. Darmstadt again 2-2. If they get a favourable result against Kit, that'll be great for them. Bath, in our first match here, we're seeing Bath against Warwick. Bath on 1-3. It would take one hell of a turnaround for either Bath or Warwick. Again, Warwick 2-2, so slightly better, but their head-to-head isn't quite as good, so they will need some very favourable results further down the line. It's almost Kit's to lose at this point, but they could very well lose it.
Yeah, I mean, Warwick still needs to the other matches to go their way to be able to catch up and get top 3, I believe. But then again, as you said, KitSC are playing both UEA and Darmstadt. I mean, they should probably pick up a win against Darmstadt today.
You should think.
I mean, we've seen UEA become this dark horse, and they're currently at the top of the standings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I expect a lot of them. And KitSC losing not only German Uniliga finals on Monday, but then losing to Rotterdam on Tuesday. It looks like, I don't know, they're on a slope right now. It's I wouldn't really call it a downfall yet, but it's it's kind of a worrying trend for them now. I mean, and they also had to give up that one match against, I think it was Tilburg.
Yeah, just forgot to show up in that first week. Yeah,
exactly. So that is hindering them right now, and all of a sudden it looks like they could potentially fall out of groups. Yeah. And that I mean, nobody expected that. I mean, they were finalists in spring, going to Game 7 against Berlin. So, yeah, everyone expected them to at least make it to semifinals in summer, but now they really got to work for it.
Yeah, and I mean, UEA, obviously, it's far from over for them. They've got their 2 matches left tonight, and at 5-0, these standings are including a free win now that every team has from the fact that Lancers are no longer playing. So UEA have 2 matches left. They will be out of 7 tonight, so we'll be seeing either 7-0 if they're really on form, 6-1 or 5-2. They're not going to drop out the groups on a 5-2 performance. I don't think that that's even possible. I mean, it's theoretically possible, but it's very unlikely. But there's seeding to be determined in the playoff brackets. If I'm not mistaken, top of each group goes straight through to the quarters, the final 4 rather than the final 6.
Yes,
which is populated by second and third. So that's something that they've got to look for tonight. And I think that match, which I do believe we've got up after this one, is the UEA versus Kit SC, will be instrumental in deciding this group, because Rotterdam have Tilburg left to play, who aren't doing so great and will in all likelihood not pull off a victory against that Rotterdam side that we saw play so well last week. So there's plenty to play for on UEA's side to ensure seeding. There's plenty to play on Rotterdam's side for the same reason. And Kit SC are really just fighting not to drop out. They have the upper hand on most of these other teams, but they need to pull through tonight. And if they don't pull through tonight, there's not another chance for them.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it. That leaves us with the current match that is up, and that is Bath against Warwick. And we said it before, we're saying it again. Warwick needs to win this if they want to keep their
for any
chances
realistic
alive.
chance. They definitely do. They've got 3 games left tonight, Warwick. This is only one of them.
Yeah.
So they're 2-2 at the moment. They've got Bath, they've got UEA, and they've got Darmstadt. So if they can pick up 2 wins, you never know. But like we were saying, results need to go their way, and that's all in their hands as we get into this game 1.
Absolutely, as we're getting some, at least I'm getting some latency variation here. I hope the players are not experiencing the same. Pings look fine so far. So, yeah, of course, Warwick here on the red side, Bath on the blue side. Oh, there is a disconnect already. Is there? Or am I seeing things?
Good question, Crafty. I don't see such a disconnect.
Wait, there was
Oh no, Joel is having controller problems. He's joined the match twice. A clever start from the Bath boys here, trying to add an extra player onto the field, but I don't think it's going to work out very well for them. Walden's sportsmanlike in offering a restart. I think we'll probably give it to them.
Yeah,
I think,
I think it's
first match of the night.
We're getting a restart. Looks like it.
Well,
players are disconnecting.
Bit of a squib to begin with there, but at least that wasn't the whole series being a squib. That was just a little bit of a false start.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird in the beginning. I don't know if he's able to actually just fix his controller, or if he's had like 1 or 2 backup controllers. Apparently, it'll only take him a minute to rejoin. That's what they said. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, it looked like Warwick were already off to a good start.
Yes, in the 30 seconds of a 3v2 that they had, they did look like they were playing quite well, but I'm not sure that's going to be entirely representative of the series as a whole. There's only one way to find out, of course, which is to start it proper. Warwick, obviously, straight back in here. They're ready and raring to go, and I mean, they're the ones really with things to play for. Bath are after dignity. They would probably rather come out on 4-3 than 1-6. I think they would definitely rather come out on 4-3 than 1-6. But 4-3 against these teams is not looking likely to put them through. Warwick have a semi-realistic chance if they can take good wins off Bath and Darmstadt. UEA is going to be a stretch for anyone at this stage. They're,
Yeah.
as we were mentioning, completely undefeated. But that would really pile up the pressure on Kit not to start losing to UEA. Because as soon as Kit lose, Warwick can catch them even if they don't beat UEA. So if UEA go undefeated, Warwick and Kit are probably, in all likelihood, going to come down to goal difference unless Darmstadt start playing spoiler.
Yeah.
There's a very, very strong likelihood that all of them will end up somewhere on or around 4 and 3. So it's going to take some tiebreakers to settle this. And we're going to hopefully get some tiebreakers in this series as we start game 1 over again.
And I'm taking a look at Joel, and it looks like he's actually moving.
He's hit the ball.
Yeah, he's hit the ball. So that looks already
he hasn't hit it
better
very
than
well.
the first one, but that was kind of interesting. Goffer there with a nice touch, but only it's a crossbar. And it looks like we're finally off to an actual game 1 here. Oh, and that is an open net.
Yeah, very shaky start for them there. Joel, not sure what he's doing. He got himself all twisted up. And Gopher just spotted the gap at the near post and hit that, to be fair, much faster than I would have thought was possible. 110 with fairly little momentum behind the ball. It was a great shot from him, but nervy start from the boys in blue here. And they're going to make it worse.
As well. Yeah, great kick-up from Gopher there. And Walden with a good follow-up immediately. And kind of awkward ball there for Adam to get there. I mean, he had the boost, but he probably would have had to go up the backboard immediately.
Horrible,
to be
those
able
reads.
To challenge that
yeah,
one.
to get it coming off your own backboard. That's obviously the main advantage of using the backboard as the offense, is that it's so much harder when the ball goes over your own head as the defense. You can't see, you can't set for the play. And Warwick have done it well, and less than a minute gone, they're already 2 up. Look like they're meaning business about snatching that 3rd spot that Lankers have so decently vacated.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is what we wanted to see from them, as there was a potential big play here. But I think it was Vex who just barely missed that charge, but the passing plays are about to being established here by Bath.
Yeah, Joel will want that one back. I don't think he'll be happy with that. I think he probably had, it was a very small gap, but I think he probably had enough of a gap to put the ball in. Unfortunately, just knocked it straight off the post. But this is much more promising from Bath. We approach 3 minutes 30 on the clock, but we know in Warwick for anything, it's for keeping leads, and the fact that they've got one so early should be very helpful to them. But both teams, I think, having a bit of game 1 nerves.
Yeah, we've seen some good touches now from Bath, especially midfield. The challenges look a lot better, but so far not really been able to get a good shot on target, as we see Vex with that ball. I mean, it could have been intentional, I don't know, but it leaves Joel with no boost trying to get the ball into the box. But Adam G with no follow-up, and that is an interesting decision-making there.
Yeah, again, Bath getting very, very jittery at the moment. Vex changed his mind about going for that ball, but far too late. He was already halfway up the wall, and Gopher was already all the way up the wall, and that's 3-0 now for Warwick in this game 1, and I think Bath are going to have to really try and reset and keep their nerve here so that this doesn't become a complete wash.
Yeah, I mean, they looked like they could actually challenge Warwick, especially when they were able to apply some pressure, but you got to watch out for those counterattacks. You got to keep at least that one guy behind who's able to make a challenge. Otherwise, it's just free goals for Warwick. Ooh, and that one is looking pretty close. Walden makes a save, and it looked like there could have almost been a bump in as well, and that would have probably sealed the deal.
This is again better from Bath. They look perfectly good on offense. It's just when the ball starts coming back this way that it seems to fall apart a little bit for them. That's helpfully a reverse caster's curse or improved right for a change as Walden tries to knock that one around the corner. Still plenty of time left on the clock for the Bath team to get some goals and hopefully try and make something out of this game 1, but they're going to have to start doing it sooner rather than later. Walden knocks it over to the right-hand side. Alice is already there waiting for him. Warwick not revving up their characteristic demos yet. In fact, the only one we've seen so far has gone the way of Bath, and I think perhaps if their lead wasn't so comfortable, they'd be trying it a bit more. Walden again choosing that moment to listen to me and get some bumps going, but that boost spawn's just underneath him, quite helpful. a bit more even at the moment, but Bath don't need even. They're 3 goals down.
Yeah, I mean, they basically just gotta control their own half. Basically, I mean, they don't even have to go for lots of attack moves now. They just have to keep the ball outside of their own half, get good challenges in midfield, try to control those mid boosts as well as AdamG almost invites, go for their forward touch, and Vex wins 150 after another. But doesn't really get the ball on target, and Joel is up, but no pressure behind the ball there.
No, it's interesting there, though. Both Warwick defenders chose to take the backboard on that. I think because they knew Joel was sufficiently far under the ball that he wasn't going to get any powerful drop shots onto that. But that's something that's going to happen again. They might be able to exploit it, but I think it's Bath that are getting exploited there. A key bump. Let's go for get the 4th in for free.
Yeah, and that is just... does he get... Yeah, he got the flip reset there, and he was sort of juked at him, I guess, with that one. It looked like he could have made another touch, and AdamG looked kind of lost there. But
yes, he very much
kind of hard to read whether Gopher still had enough boost in the tank to make another touch there.
Yeah.
In the end, it doesn't really matter because, I mean, they were already down 3 goals. And,
yeah, you have to push. You're right.
Yeah.
You've got to start trying risky things to get the points back, and as they stretch a bit further just to get anything on the board in this game 1, we might actually see it go the other way. It's a good clear from Joel, and Vex is up, but he's not going to get there. And Bath really looking a little bit worse for wear as Walden fires a 5th into another completely empty net.
Yeah, this is so weird. I mean, another bad challenge there by AdamG. I mean, you can't go for that ball when you know there's no one left behind you. You got to rotate back into the net. Otherwise, this pass will always end up in a goal. And looks a bit disconnected from what we've seen so far, especially on defense. As soon as Warwick is in control of the ball, they, oh my god, set up plays like these. And Walden almost with his 3rd goal of the game. But, I mean, that was an absolute dominant performance now by Warwick. They never looked like they were in danger of losing that one, but mostly because Bath didn't really know what to do with whenever they had with possession, and whenever they lost possession, it got bad real quick.
It did get very nasty for them, particularly on defense. They looked very sluggish and they were slow. Wasn't the best performance. I'm sure they'll be aware of that, and I'm sure they'll turn it around. This is not what Bath play like. This isn't just who they are. This is just, I think, a sluggish start to the series, maybe not quite fully warmed up.
Yeah.
Haven't played enough together yet so far today, but I think there were patches of that game, particularly in the middle, sort of 3-minute 30 to kind of 2-minute kind of time, where Bath were holding their own perfectly well for the vast majority of it and putting together probably the better offense. It was just that their defense was made of Swiss cheese. And it fell apart incredibly quickly. I mean, they 10 shots and only 3 of them saved shows all you need to show about that. But game 2 is a different game, and I think Bath will be very happy to see that one behind them. And they'll need to speed it up. Warwick like taking it slow. They'll like 1v1 plays. They like challenges, and they like just sneaking in behind the defensive line to get the bumps. So in game 2, I think Bath are going to need to ramp it up a little bit and start getting more in their face.
I mean, we've seen glimpses of good playmaking potential in offense for Bath, and I'm excited to see some more. There were some passing plays, and that one could have been a great touch for by Joel for Vax as well. But yeah, I mean, they got to establish some control in midfield to be able to constantly pressure Warwick.
Yeah.
And to deny some boost from them, because otherwise Warwick looks like they will always win these challenges.
Yeah, I mean, they always will. I mean, you don't fancy yourself against Walden in a Batmobile at the best of times, but if he's got the boost and you don't, it narrows the odds exponentially. But you're right, I think Bath have had what I would call the best offensive ideas. That backboard attempt from Vex springs to mind early on in game 1 before it got completely dire for them. It's more exciting, definitely, that the Bath team have put together, like you say, better chances, and AdamG will finally convert one, which means they take the lead here in this game too.
Yeah, that is just a great read, a good follow-up by AdamG. I mean, he sees a Joel will get a good touch pretty high into midfield, and there was no one to respond on the side of Warwick, because I don't know who it was. I think it was Walden, was still rotating over to that boost. And another one just gets through, and this looks like a complete turnaround of game 1 with 2 goals in quick succession for Bath, and they take the 2-goal lead now.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Warwick. I think they'll feel a little hard done by them. They just seem to happen once in a while at pretty much any level of Rocket League, competitive or otherwise, and just one of those. I mean, we can try and give some credit to Joel, I suppose, for reading the kickoff, but I'm not sure he'll be completely confident that that was his work, and that is an emphatic way to halve the deficit as Walden gets up high to laser that one straight down into the bottom right.
Also, good challenge there by, I believe it was Gopher.
Gophers with the assist,
And just a great read. I mean, it was so hard to read that on defense because it bounced off the wall twice. But Walden with a great shot, a good follow-up. And yeah, I mean, that is what we've seen from Warwick so far. They're very explosive in offense, and that is a great pass, but Gopher was... No, it wasn't Gopher, it was Alice, was up a bit too far, expecting a stronger drop there by Walden.
Yes, I think perhaps expecting a little too much. Even of Walden there, that drop was never going to come straight down. I think if he wanted straight down, he may as well have just left it to waterfall down the side. But looking more promising for Warwick in this middle section of game 2 here. They're beginning to hem Bath in, get a bit of pressure, take the boosts. Again, we'll see Alice take one just there in the corner. This is where Bath start to look a little shaky, but they haven't disintegrated as quickly as they did in Game 1, and in fact they've turned it around quite well here. If they can keep this, Alice misses to clear, which will help them, but Joel goes off the side wall and Vex is committed. Adam's going to be in a tricky position here as Warwick transition into offense.
Yeah, Walden also going for those bomb plays now to make Adam's life even harder there in defense, but no one to follow up for that one, and they're still looking for these mistakes in defense now. Bath look a lot more solid. They're not as pressured as much as in game 1, and these clears from the backboard look a lot better as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I expect them to maybe be able to hold their lead for the majority of this game. They just got to be careful to not go for these overcommitments and to not miss these rotations in defense.
Yeah, it's the stretch that worries me for this Bath side. They seem, even though they're leading, like look at that, Vex flying up and getting a nothing touch just as Joel gets stuck in the opposition net. Not something you need to be doing when you're a goal up, and this is going to ratchet up the pressure on them a bit here. Joel does well and he nearly gets a second, but actually leaves it, and that looked very, very dangerous, but I think Vex was called off rather than just missing the ball. At least I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now again, Bath on offense is looking much more sustained from the boys in blue this time around.
Yeah, we've also had some off touches there, especially from Alice in defense now, or no touches at all.
Well, yeah,
and
that's the biggest
that
off
helps
touch.
them. Yeah, it allows Bath to settle themselves in midfield to be able to contest that boost. Great demo there by Joel. Immediately stopping this counterattack.
Yeah, it's fantastic work. And again, look, straight away, Bath are up, and Joel wisely choosing not to go for the shot, which was covered, but find a space on the backboard. Unfortunately, I'm not sure his teammates saw it as well as he did and weren't ready to get the ricochet back off. But he's there again. Walden stuffs it into the corner, but the corner is fine for Bath. That is less fine, but Adam G gets it out well. But Gopher's going to be there next. Goes for the solo play, but the first touch isn't what he would have wanted. What Alice would have wanted, and he goes for the dunk. Doesn't quite get it in. Walden again up on the backboard, but Bath seemed to have covered that well until I opened my mouth, and Vex manages to get that back off to the corner. As the final minute ticks down, Warwick are really beginning to turn up the heat.
Yeah, you start to see some nerves there on Bath's defense again. A lot of weird challenges and whiffed shots. You've got to be careful. I mean, it's only 30 seconds left to play.
And they're still going for backboard passing plays. It's risky from Bath, but Vex nearly sneaks one in, and Adams just again launched himself at that. There's no need. Joel's missed it. This is going to leave Bath on a very, very sticky defensive rotation, but luckily for them, Gopher doesn't quite get his touch right, and it's just straight off. The last 10 seconds tick down. Vex knocks that towards the goal, and Warwick team up to get rid of it, and Alice very nearly just whacks that into his own top left corner, and As the clock hits 0, this needs to stay up. Alice has got it that far, but that's as far as it'll go. And Bath looked much better there as they tied the series 1 apiece.
Yeah, absolutely. Great improvement from Bath here in the second game. Yes, I mean, they did not dominate them by any means. They did not really control the entirety of the field, but they had very good opportunities. They used them right. And, I mean, their defensive behavior has been a lot better. I mean, at least there used to be no one in defense in game 1, but now they at least focus on defensive rotations a lot more.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, the second goal was kind of lucky maybe at kickoff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to take those, and then you just have to
hold them. That's
control
the key.
it. Yeah, exactly.
That was the key for Bath, and I think it was that sort of defensive midfield that served Bath so well there. You can see here, Warwick nearly half the shots that they had in game 1 here, just down to 6 this time, only one of them on target, but I don't think that's really due to their poor shooting. It's more due to the fact that Bath were, this time at least, up and ready for them, often before they even came in, cutting off passes, getting the shots away, getting, like you said, better backboard clears that prevented the second shot from just being a free go at the goal. And
yes.
Bath can keep that up again. Warwick are going to have to change something if they want game 3.
I mean, you're talking about that backboard again. This is definitely a big improvement from game 1, because we've seen Warwick just, put these high balls, these high passes onto the backboard, and Bath struggled so much to be able to clear them, and often double committed as well for it. So if they can keep that up, they can definitely challenge Warwick in this series, and we've seen it in game 2. Now they just got to repeat that 2 more times.
Yeah, exactly. Lather, rinse, repeat it is for Bath, and they seem to have been kept in a little bit during the opening exchanges of this game, and Adam again committing for that with no boost. Joel going for the double or nothing approach on that ball, but it manages to work out for him. Bex again going for the clear, but he's dunked in by Gopher. This could be a little bit problematic. Adam G's clear is more up than out, and when there's a ceiling, that's really not what you want. Joel knocks it further down the right-hand side here, but there's no one to chase it from Bath. This is going to be a free touch for Vex, and I'm not sure he would have done that with it if he gets another go, but that's a good pass from Joel down to Adam G. The shot just off to the top right, and Warwick should be able to play this one out.
Yeah. Once again, we see some glimpses of great passing plays there in offense. I mean, they weren't right on point there, but
no, the idea
Bath
again,
a lot more creative in offense now.
And that's certainly compared to their game 1 form, that's at least half the battle, is just having the ideas. The execution can come later as far as Bath are probably concerned. They just need to get the confidence up, start playing better. This is more like it. Joel knocks it straight past Walden, and that's a fantastic 3-man passing play to take the lead.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, that touch by Adam G right onto the nose of Vex, and it's so quick. Joel is already in position to receive that one, and yes, it was basically just past Walden, but from that distance and with that speed, there's really no way for him to react in time.
No, the work had already been done.
Yeah, that's just what we wanted to see from Bath, and they're really establishing these passing plays now.
Yeah, and again, Vex is straight up onto that backboard. The confidence is really starting to show for these blue boys now, but that's not the touch that Joel would have wanted. There's confidence, but there's still a couple of executional issues from Bath. There's, I think, an equal number from Warwick as well. Gopher and Alice both getting touches they probably weren't after. Adam G tries to knock this in. Vex comes through very quickly. I think probably even surprised his teammate with that, but doesn't seem to have worked very well for them. But again, Alice has no boost, and Joel has left that completely unattended in the goal, and Walden will have probably one of the freest shots he'll ever score.
I mean, great recovery there from Alice, and what a challenge with 0 boost to make that an immediate pass onto Walden.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, kind of unfortunate positioning there in defense once again
the
by Bath.
word for the positioning.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the challenge by Alice has been
It was a great
nonetheless.
challenge. It was a brilliant challenge, but Joel should, he I think he'll know he's better than that. He should be back post, or at least middle of the goal, because if he is, then that simply just doesn't go over him. But Bath's got plenty of time, and they're still not losing. It's only back to a tie game. Vex gone straight up for that instead of waiting for the bounce, but it's enabled him to get their boost, and now Joel is there. Alice is in all sorts of trouble, and the bump will clear it, and Adam G knocks it into the top left. 6s and 7s from the Warwick defense.
Yeah, I mean, It looked like he might get a second touch even, but
I
then
think,
he decided
yeah.
to just go for that ground play. Beautiful bump, and it opens up Adam G, and he just executes it perfectly. So yeah, I mean, a bit of hesitation there in defense from Warwick. We've seen that a couple times now, and Bath are always punishing them for it. And yeah, it's just great execution there on offense once again.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm going to forget which series it was we were watching last week, but I distinctly remember saying at one point, it's only down, I think it was Arctic Foxes, if I remember correctly, it's down to what they do and what they don't do. When Bath play good offense, they win. But equally, if they don't play good defense, they lose. But Warwick have fairly little agency in this game at the moment. They're not really creating very much for themselves, that they haven't just been gifted by defensive mishaps from Bath, and Bath seem to be the ones in control for better or worse at the moment as the clock ticks into the final 100 seconds of this game 3, and that's a brilliant shot from Alice. Probably the only gap that they could have found in that tiny little bottom right corner, but find it they did. 2-2.
Yeah, it's a great pass. Alice just had no boost left as well, so this was all he could have done to get there, and he just hits a perfect shot into the lower right corner, and this could get even worse. And Gopher gets another kickoff goal for Warwick, and that one hurts.
Yes, it does. Yes, it really does. There's not much you can say about that, is there? I mean, we saw one in game 2. We really saw one in game 1 as well. Warwick's second came straight off the backboard following a kickoff, and both teams been on the receiving end this time of some kickoff-related mishaps, but there's only one goal down, and that's a completely open net. I'm not sure quite who was flying. I think that must have been Gopher flying straight across. Yeah, Alice is there, so it is Gopher. Very optimistic, and Vex spotted the opportunity and slotted it into the bottom right again, and we're tied at 3.
Yeah, Vex was just so much quicker to that ball. I don't know what Gopher was thinking there. I mean, probably did not expect Vex to have that much boost in the tank.
Kickoff.
But yeah, I mean, that is very good to see from Bath now, because we have seen them when they were down and they didn't look too well, and this time they made it work, came back immediately, and because they looked like they were in control most of the time of this game, and to get a kickoff goal, or to concede a kickoff goal like that in a situation like that, it is painful. But as I say that, we do see weird whiffs happening there in midfield.
Yeah, well, I think two of the Bath players just drove into each other rather than the ball there, which is unfortunately rather not the kind of in-control Bath you were just describing. It's coming a little bit loose at the edges here, and if Alice could have got to that, Warwick might have had a chance to make them pay for it. It's just gone across here. Gopher again off the side wall, but that's easy for Vex. Off the corner, the demo and Gopher will make him back line. Walden again demoed. It seems to be Bath getting all the demos, which in a Warwick series is highly unusual.
Yeah, but they couldn't really follow up with anything, and they couldn't really make this anything else happen, and it's still an even game. So I guess they'll just take it.
Alice is all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are often trying to challenge these high passes in midfield before anyone else can get there, but oftentimes it's more than they can handle, and it leads to horrible whiffs and big holes in defense. So yeah, they got to sort that out.
Yeah, they really do, but at the moment we've got overtime, so it's only one hole necessary in the defense. Joel clears it, but Alice is up, looking to make amends. I think got a little bit jittery towards the end of that, and Walden's gone up for the dunk and not got it, so Bath will push out. Gopher is there, not a brilliant touch, and Joel will get that to the backboard. Alice clears it down, but Vex is there. Doesn't quite read the bounce off the lip, and it's gone over a bit further than Adam would have liked, who's then just put it straight over Joel's head, and Vex is committed. This could be catastrophic for Bath. Adam G stuck back on his own, and that will be it. Gopher with another P-rolling shot, but that's all it needed to take game 3 for Warwick.
Yeah, he also had no boost left, Adam, there.
That's horrible for Adam G.
That is, yeah, you can't really do much there. I mean, best you can do is probably even just try to dribble it.
Yeah, catch the ball.
And then, get a good 50 out of it, because two players are approaching
already. Riding your luck heavily, I think. Yeah. It was the damage was done. That was a big overcommit from Bath in the offensive half, left Adam G in a, like we were saying, very horrible position, and I'm sure he won't be thanking his teammates for that. But they're not out of it yet. They just need to iron out some of these weird defensive. We're looking at some of these replays again, and a lot of the goals that Warwick scored weren't pretty. And like I was saying, it's Warwick take opportunities that Bath give them, and Bath take opportunities that Bath give them. Warwick aren't creating much for themselves. Bath just need to tighten up on their own end and start focusing their attentions on the orange goal and not the blue one if they want anything out of this series.
And and also thanks to for production to point that out, Bath did already beat Warwick to actually qualify for EUR summer, and it shows they seem to have a good game plan to be able to sort of disrupt Warwick's playstyle. You said it already. They are not able to go for these demos. They're not able to go for the physical plays because it feels like Bath is trying to avoid them most of the time. Yeah, and go for these passing plays in the offense, especially. But as I already said as well, these whiffs in midfield need to stop. These challenges where the players are overcommitting because they feel like they can get to the ball quick enough, but end up just flying by horribly. This is what hinders both these teams to really keep the pressure up in offense.
No, it really is. You're right, and I think neither team playing at what even they would probably describe as 100% so far in this series, as again, another ball just completely sailed past on the Warwick defensive side. Vex looking to pop that up, but Adam G has learnt the hard way that you don't want to commit to plays like that, and he'll go up the wall here, and that's popped out nicely for Vex, who gets there somehow ahead and nearly gets back to it. That would have been fantastic. Adam G looks to knock that in at the near post, and he has. I don't think Walden expected it. Just under 30 seconds gone, and Bath have taken the lead.
Yeah, Walden kind of caught off guard there. I mean, it's not the best rotation either. You don't want to come from near post when you rotate back into your goal. But it was a great touch with little to no boost, I believe, there from Adam as well.
10 boost off the wall, it was pretty good. I think, to be fair to Walden, had he gone back post on that particular play, there probably would have been no one in the goal at all.
Yeah.
But, like you say, it's never ideal. I think there's always somewhere further down the line that you can say, well, here you should have got somewhere a bit quicker or changed something about your play, because you never want to be rotating in like that on the front post. It doesn't put you on the right foot to make the save, and he didn't, which means Bath are 1 goal to the good. Vex tries to get the pop, doesn't quite do it. Adam tries to get the read, doesn't quite do it, but Vex is there, and Alice just stops a second, and Gopher's going to drop that down again. Alice up, but Adam's going to beat Walden to this, and we're going to have a bit of neutral play in this 4th game.
Yeah, it looked like Joel could have gotten a great pass there onto Vex. I mean, he got it, but it looked like Vex did not have enough boost to reach the ball. But yeah, we've seen these transitions from defense into offense on Bath's side still look a lot better than what we've seen from Warwick. Yeah. And they tried to make it work. Now they're going for these very aggressive challenges in midfield again, and so far it's been working out for them. But, I mean, there's still only 1 goal up. I mean, I understand they want to make this a 2-goal lead at least. But yeah, they got to be careful to not overcommit once again. But what is going on there?
Oof. This time Walden not beaten at his near post, and Vex is going to wisely choose to take this all the way back round if he doesn't get demoed first. I think he was a bit worried about it and has now caught it up in his own corner as Alice sends it over to the other side. Back off the backboard, that's going to be free for Walden. Wisely chooses not to put that against Joel, because that could have gone absolutely anywhere. But Vex going off the ceiling, which is really going to cost Bath here, as Gopher calls his bluff and slots it over the defense. 1-1.
Yeah, Vex had 0 boost as well, and it looked like he felt he could have touched the ball higher to be able to reach it from the ceiling. But yeah, with no boost, there's nothing you can do there, and Gopher beats you to that ball 10 out of 10 times. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know if he wasn't communicating that to his teammates, because it looked like they weren't really in position to react to it, and in the end, it's just an easy shot for Gopher.
Again, yeah, another basic gift of a goal for Warwick to be scoring. I think Vex was perhaps banking on that being some kind of mind game, a fake play, making Gopher think he had more boost, but Gopher just thought, well, I'm the furthest forward of my team. Not like I'm last man, I can just do what I want, and he went for it, and it's really paid off, and you're in that position, I mean, why not? And Gopher's again in that first man position here as Alice knocks it into the corner, tries to find the near post, doesn't quite get it. Walden knocks it all the way across goal, and Joel tries to flick it out for a clear, gets demoed for his troubles, which means Adam and Vex have to team up, and perhaps got a little too teamed to deal with that properly. Gopher up the left wall, and Adam G knocks it into the corner again. Is he going to get the bump? Not quite. Walden knocks it back into that right-hand corner for Bath, and That's straight in again from Joel, but it's not very dangerous. Bath, lots of ball control, but not much to show for it just yet.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying once again. They're also always looking for these infield passes, but so far Warwick able to read them a lot better, and that was a great demo from Alice once again.
Well, that's a huge commit. Adam does very well to knock that back, but it's
Yeah, you
still
need
not
those.
over for Bath. That's much more decisive there, but again, there's no boost anywhere to be found. Warwick's so good at just getting in there quickly with the squeeze, and they've taken everything that Bath could have found. Walden pushed into a touch that wasn't what he was after, but there's a demo on the back line, which leaves Bath a little bit confused on their rotations. Adam G just goes for a little drive. He can hit that another time. He won't be too bothered. Joel, again, just passed the ball, and I think Adam G looking perhaps or caught in two minds between the cross and the shot. Doesn't really end up with either. Get another chance at it here, and Vex is already up on the backboard looking for that kind of play. We've seen it at least once from both teams so far, but it's not come through yet. Joel knocks it across. Walden out for the clear. Gopher's going to knock this down as we approach the final 30 seconds. Warwick just needs one goal to take the series.
Yeah, but Bath want to make this a 5-game series, it looks like. And this could
And
be
they will.
it.
Oh, what a
my
save.
Goodness, Walden coming from the skies. And I don't even think he had boost left. He was just dropping it open for the best. But it worked out, and Bath are struggling to get that ball into the box now. With only 10 seconds left of the game. Could potentially end up in another attack for them, but they got to be careful not to overcommit.
Yes, a stretch now would be catastrophic for Bath, and they might just have done it. Walden's got the free
Oh my
shot, and
God.
he puts it in for a buzzer beater. You do not give him space like that. Probably the best goal Warwick have scored all series, and it's the one that takes it for them 3-1.
Resulting from another midfield challenge, I guess the motto of this game has been, if you're in doubt, just go for it.
Yeah, very good.
You get it? Go for
Well, and he did.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was really what won Warwick that game, was just that play where Vex thinks he's, pulling the Warwick team around on strings, and Gopher just goes, you know what do I have to lose? And he didn't have anything to lose at all, just went straight for that ball, and just Bath weren't ready. And I think that really sums up what they had flashes of brilliance. I would say that Bath's sort of peak performance in that series was higher than Warwick's. Bath, I think, played better at their best in those last 4 games that we just saw than Warwick did at their best. But while the peaks were higher, I think the troughs were much lower. Warwick just had that consistency, and I wouldn't call it consistent, but I would call it more consistent, and I think that was what won it out for them in the end.
Yeah, and especially being able to capitalize on these defensive mistakes that we've seen from Bath.
Yeah,
Warwick was always there to do it.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that same level of execution on Bath's side. Yes, they had the more creative offensive plays. They were going for passing plays most of the time, and they were sort of forcing their offense onto Warwick's defense, but at the same time, we're not able to then capitalize on defensive mistakes. But then again, they probably didn't make as many as Bath anyway. So yeah. In the end, of course, it's a sort of a hard loss for Bath, because it felt like they should have been able to win it. But then again, this puts Warwick right back on track, or at least they did what they had to do anyway.
Yeah, that was what
which
they
is
had to
win.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And
that means it's going to get even more exciting in this group.
Yeah, it is. I'm just going to have a quick rundown of what we've learned so far from the standings. That puts Warwick at 3-2. Bath, unfortunately, down at 1-4, are, for all intents and purposes, out of contention for any playoff places now. That's going to be the last we see of them in this tournament tonight, unfortunately for them. But for Warwick, 3-2 now, their record is. They've got UEA left to play, which would be, nothing short of a miracle, I think, for Warwick to take anything off UEA. But then, as we've seen so far this tournament, teams play so differently on different days that anything's possible. And Warwick the more they look at it, the more they need it. They definitely need a win off Darmstadt, because while we were playing there, Kit have just taken their game, I believe it was against Darmstadt. It can't have been against anyone else. They've just picked up their 4th win. So Darmstadt down to 2-3, not looking too rosy for them now that Kit have gone up to 4-2, but Warwick can still challenge them. Both have to play the Blue Jays, though, and it will be the Blue Jays we'll be seeing next, taking on Kit in what really will tie up that Group B, depending on how the result goes. So we're going to take a short break before we get you back into that match, but please don't go anywhere. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the third week of this league, or group stage, I should say, for EUR Summer 2020. My name is Atch, and I'm still joined by Crafty. We've just seen Warwick take a series against Bath 3-1, which makes it sound much more convincing than perhaps it was.
Yeah.
But that set them up well for this group. This group is, obviously, both groups are tonight coming to a close, and as this group comes to a close, Warwick have done themselves favours by winning that series, as winning any series would do if you want to get out of these groups. And UEA really have all the power at this stage. Warwick have to play Darmstadt,
Absolutely.
which you would hope, for Warwick's sake, will be a win for them. Because Darmstadt are now down to 2 and 3, which almost puts them out of contention unless some things go very specifically in their favour. Warwick need, really, if they, to stand a reasonable chance, that win against Darmstadt, which will be happening as we speak. But it's the UEA team that we're going to be watching, and they really have the option to play spoil sports here. This is Kit's last game that they're facing UEA in. They've arguably saved their biggest challenge for the end, particularly now that they don't have to play Alanka's side anymore. And I mean, this will really, UEA, like I say, they determine, basically, if they're playing well, it's going to be very interesting, because the maths checks out. If Warwick sweep Darmstadt, which is certainly possible, I think they'd need to step things up a bit from their last series, but if they do sweep Darmstadt, then it will entirely come down to who performs better against this UEA side in their final match.
Yeah.
To determine which of the two teams takes that third spot. UEA, of course, I think technically, again, I'm trying to do quick maths, which I can't do, but I'm not sure they're assured going through, but again, it would have to go very specifically wrong for them. Same is true for Rotterdam, of course. They're only on 5 and 1, so they could technically still slip out in favour of both Warwick and Kit, but UEA definitely have all the right cards at the moment, and I think it's their biggest challenge as well. What do you reckon they have to do, Crafty, to get through this Karlsruhe side?
Wait, we're talking about Warwick or UEA now?
No, UEA now.
UEA, yeah. I think, what they've showed last week really surprised me. I mean, haven't been able to watch these guys play all too often, and last week looked really promising. I mean, they beat Rotterdam, a team that we expected to be at least top 3. I mean, that was including Lankers back then. Comfortably top 3 in the original standings of this group. We had Rotterdam down for. So this is a team that is looking like they could actually catch a lot of these other established European teams off guard and just get out at the top of this group. And to be fair, no one really saw them even making it into top 3 at the beginning. No. But right now, it looks like they could spoil the
show for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, especially with Karlsruhe now really relying on winning this match, because if they lose this match, Warwick could even, just by winning their last remaining matches, yes, of course, one of those will have to be against UEA, get past Karlsruhe and
clean without any need for tiebreakers.
Exactly,
like you say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it would be down to 4 and 3.
Lots of pressure on Kiddesee's side, and UEA looked like a team that are able to exploit teams that are under pressure. Are able to force mistakes when, especially in defense, that we've seen on the side of Rotterdam last week.
Yeah,
and Karlsruhe looked a bit sluggish. I mean, yes, they had 2 very hard defeats this week already in the finals in Germany against Berlin, and now against Rotterdam in EUR on Tuesday. So, I don't know how far they are right now in terms of motivation and morale, and that could be a factor in this match against UEA.
Definitely. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get straight into this game 1, another best of 5 series for you here. But, like we were saying, this UEA team, definitely the most entertaining series I think I've certainly ever seen on this university side of Rocket League. I think their series against Rotterdam gave value for money to the viewer. Hits didn't so much, but only because they finished it so quickly that we all had to go home early. So, UEA very much captain clutch style of play. They'll pull it out when it matters. And like you said, they were very good at turning pressure into goals. If they don't get any pressure, they're probably not going to get any goals. So that, of course, is, I think, any team's biggest challenge against Karlsruhe.
Absolutely. And so far, neither team really able to establish them on field. Looked like UAR slowly starting to get some control over midfield, which would then help them to create some pressure. Yeah, but touches like these by Ant-Man, of course, slow your play down. And that is just a great redirect by Pads, but just hits the post.
Yeah, this one's going to roll a lot further than anyone who's a fan of the team in orange would like, but comfortably dealt with. Pads, again, knocks it well away, and Supreme couldn't... Oh, that wasn't Supreme, my apologies. Ant-Man couldn't get back to that. KJ does well off the corner, but Mate's going to be there, drops it straight down to Pads, and that will be the first goal, and that's the clinical play we expect from this Kit team.
Yeah, also, so nice, this touch by Mate.
Yeah,
he decides not to go for a backboard pass, but he decides to just drop it down with his wheels onto Pads. She's right there to make this the first goal of the night for Kittis, or at least that's the first goal of the night. They want to get matched against Darmstadt already. The first goal of this series.
First goal that we've seen.
Yeah.
We have no proof that any of their other goals went in, and that's going to be very awkward. Pads, for once caught out, Arno just gets back in time. That's not what we're used to from this Kit side, so maybe there are windows for UEA if they can make their backboard clears, because this is going to be a free shot now for Mate, who won't miss that. I think that's a little bit of help from the UEA defense, but they won't care. 2-0 to Kit.
Yeah, it's an awkward challenge there by Pats, and then the Preem tries to go for the squishy save here. Doesn't quite get it, but once again, yeah, we talked about it, and we've seen it again. As soon as you give Kittis space, they will use it in offense, and their pressure is relentless. And does Pats have a flick? No, she doesn't. And that is at least first goal for UEA. Looks a bit off there. Yeah. I don't know what she was trying to do.
All sorts of trouble there for Pads, but that's, you know, not a terminal problem for this Kit SC team. That's, I think, a once in a blue moon kind of occurrence, and it wasn't really offensive pressure to speak of from UEA, and Arno knocks that down. But Supreme, they seem to be ramping things up a bit. Ant-Man down there in the back left corner of the UEA defense knocks it off the wall. Arno's gone up ahead of Pads, but they were both there, so it's going to leave a little bit of a gap if UEA can find it in time, but they won't be able to because Pads has kept it very well. And it's a great redirect. Matty in for the shot. Little bit of luck, but got to get it sometimes, and that's 3-1 with a double touch off the crossbar.
Yeah, yes, of course, you got a bit lucky there, but I mean, it all stemmed from this great touch by Arno, the great redirect that basically forced two players of UEA to commit for that ball, and then I think there wasn't enough boost left to reposition immediately. And yeah, we've seen a couple of these now, and Kittis starting to get creative there in offense, but also because UEA is struggling to get good clears so far of this in this series, and Kittis are right there to punish it. And Pat's looking for a great pass, no one there though.
No, and that's fine though. I mean, they've got the deficit. The ball's on the right side of the half. Ant-Man's been completely cleared out, and that's going to make it 4. Matty on the hat trick already with just over half the game gone, but again, just a bit of an evisceration in the net, and then UEA got themselves in all sorts of trouble. Brilliant finish, but could have put it anywhere.
Yeah, it's starting to look like this classic Kittis snowball that happens.
Yeah.
You give him one goal, and all of a sudden
the floodgates are open.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to watch when you're a UEA fan, but it's also, it's so hard to play against this team. They will always contest your boosts. They will always try to get a bump in whenever they rotate back into defense. So there's so much about this team that is so hard to predict and to play against.
Oh,
and,
no.
And then you get a good pinch like that in defense as well. And Arno makes the re-wave. What wasn't Ant-Man there to get that touch? It looked like he
was there in body. I'm not sure.
Oh no!
He just tried to get a very deft touch, couldn't quite manage it, and that's 5-1. But Yeah, it's not looking good at this moment. He's being flamed by his own teammates, which
I mean,
I suppose shows that they're all having fun as well as taking it seriously. But like you were saying, you know, you talked about all of these facets of Kit SC. Most teams will, you know, they could, like you say, push for boosts. They could really go for offensive pressure. They could go for bumps. Most of the time with teams at this level, it's go for boost or go for bumps or go for the offensive pressure and the clever passes. With Kit SC, you get all of it at once, and that's what makes it so hard to defend, is that you have very little idea of which of those you have to deal with. At least like we were saying before, you play a team like Warwick, you can reasonably expect that there will be bump plays and, you know, lots of physical aggression in the game, but they're such an enigma to deal with, particularly obviously if you don't play them regularly, which none of these British teams do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it shows at times, but we have seen UEA come back from deficits as well, and being able to adapt to a team last week when they won against Rotterdam, which of course is a strong team, a strong contender for this EUR summer as well. So I'm excited to see what they come up with for the next game, because to be fair, it looks like this one is kind of settled. It's a 4-goal deficit with 30 or now 25 seconds left on the clock. This almost a miracle if they want to come back from that one.
Yeah, but like you say, I think UEA are perhaps one of the most sort of adaptable. They can change their playstyle pretty much on a dime, and I think they'll need to get anything out of this series. But if anyone's going to do it, it's them. Ant-Man trying to get some momentum up as we go into the second game. UEA look like they've taken the final goal of this game one, but unlike all your school football matches, it's not next goal the winner, so this game fairly safely in the hands of Kit at this point. But like we say, UEA could come out a completely different side in this next game in the series.
Supreme typing winnable in all chat after that goal. Not quite.
I rate the enthusiasm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to end on a high note, and that totally worked out for them, I guess, at least for now. I mean, looking at the stats, it's basically what we expected. We've seen 15 shots now from Karlsruhe and only 6 from UEA. So yeah, there was some offensive pressure, you could say, and dominance there on the side of Karlsruhe. But at the same time, I mean, after the 4th or 5th goal, it looked like they sort of figured it out. They were able to get a better clears in. I mean, this is basically what they will have to do. They will need great clears, but at the same time, they will also be able to have someone in position to challenge the infield pass. So that, I mean, backboard control and great reads, great defensive rotations are what they will need 24/7 when they play against these against Kit SC. So yeah, it's a lot to ask for, but they can do it.
They can,
and they've shown it in the past. So I hope they won't. As
KJ begging us to talk about the Ant-Man whiff on this cast. No, KJ, I'm not going to do it.
No.
You can get your clip material elsewhere. But like we're saying, when you have more saves than shots in a game, it's a fairly foregone conclusion that game probably hasn't gone well for you. So UEA will be aiming to reverse that statistic this time around, but it looked fine. They didn't go as wrong as it would for a lot of other teams against this Kit side. I think it's fair to say they, granted, conceded 5, but I mean, you know, you concede 5 against Kit, that's like 2 against most normal teams. So I'm not sure they'll be too fazed by that. And if anyone can turn things around, it's this UEA team here. And Supreme, limited boost. This is an early problem for UEA, but that's a great clear from Ant-Man. Supreme staying up despite the lack of boost, and he's got their corner boost. This is already more proactive from the UEA side, and Supreme's taking that up the wall. He'll get another touch, but he won't get a third. It nearly didn't matter, as Arno was in all sorts of trouble. UEA looking a little bit better already at the start of this game too.
Yeah, Supreme faking that one. Hashtag calculated. He receives one fake from Arno as well. So it looks a little bit confused there in defense for Kit SC, but that is a great demo from Pats. Unfortunately, MT not able to get that on target. Oh my god. They're taking their time in defense.
Oh,
And it
such
cost
a
him.
shame. I think Ant-Man did the right thing there, because he could have leathered that, and then it probably would have just got dunked, and then he just got nicked on the way down by Arno and Matty. Again, nice easy finish for him, but Ant-Man was stuck between a rock and a hard place there, and Kit take the lead once again.
Yeah, a bit unlucky. And now Pats with the air dribble and get.
Oh my goodness!
What am I looking at? Again, the sandwich there with Matty, but doesn't end up in a goal. Already, Kiddie getting creative though in offense, and UEA looked like they're struggling again.
Yeah, but this is a bit better. There only seems to be one player back, and it's Matty who stuffs that away at the near post. But this is KJ. Really feels, I think he would have done better with that, given another opportunity. Might not matter as Ant-Man gets that one off the crossbar. Uncharacteristically recalcitrant there from Kit, just sitting back a little bit, and Arno not really sure what to do, and it cost them.
I don't know how much boost he had left. It looked like
That's
he had
a good question.
At least more than 10. So yeah,
Enough.
It feels like it was enough. Yeah. Maybe the communication was off there. Maybe he expected Pats to be able to get a touch there.
I won't lie, I expected a backboard player, especially from this Kit side. There almost always is one. But this time it just didn't seem to, like you say, maybe lack of boost or communication issues. Whatever it is, certainly nothing too dire for Kit just yet. That's only a tying goal, and they might get it straight back if Arno can reach the VAT, but he won't quite get it into the corner. KJ gets it into his own corner, knocks it out to the right. Ant-Man's there, and he's not taking any chances with the slow plays this time. Supreme in all sorts of trouble. KJ gets faked out, we'll say, by Pads, although I think she probably just missed it, which is a bit unfortunate. But UEA take the transition again. This is a much more open game too.
Yeah, and UEA are getting their chances as well. Ant-Man unfortunately has no boost here in midfield. Otherwise, he would have been able to follow up much quicker. Potentially getting a shot there. Great touch from Pats, though. And now it's a 2v1 situation. Goes for the air drag.
Oh.
Great read from Ant-Man. And he even gets the backboard clear as well.
That was fantastic defense from Ant-Man there. He could not have played that any better. Avoided the bump, got the clear, and then, like you say, got it off the backboard. This, however, might be a bit trickier. Uses the post to his advantage, gets it away, but this is beginning to wear down, and KJ's got it through, but it's not going to reach the back of the net. It's just going up the wall, and Supreme there adds back. Again, like I said, very much more open in this game too, and UEA really look like they're beginning to warm up.
Oh my god.
Arno just manages to get there, but it wasn't pretty, and this game is end-to-end stuff.
I just now realized that Matty has been AFK in enemy goal for the past, I don't know, like 30 seconds.
But, I mean, this game has gone on sufficiently long that I think UEA are well within their rights, should they want to keep playing.
Yeah.
I believe all I can really offer them is an up to you, and they can keep going, and Ant-Man, what they choose to do is up to them, really. That it's entirely their call whether they choose to very graciously let this one run out and, I don't know, then force a replay, I suppose, because I doubt they'll just take the overtime. Supreme, very sportsmanlike, saying we can stop, so stop we will. KJ again, yeah, this is brilliant from the UEA side. They've been gifted a golden opportunity, but they don't feel it's right. So stop we are. KJ's asking to restart from 2 minutes, which, short of borrowing an RLCS server for the next couple of minutes, I'm not actually sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. Supreme taking this one down. We'll take a restart, which means we will have to remake this match.
Okay.
Which will require all of the teams leave. Whether they're obviously listening to me is an entirely different standpoint. We will probably have to wait for a little call as to what happens here. It was obviously tied in the game, so no team really had the advantage, but to replay the whole game seems perhaps not necessarily unfair, but perhaps unnecessary.
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I guess we're just gonna
we wait for some decisions, and I'm gonna very, very quickly make sure that it's not me who has to make them. That game 2 looked much better though from UEA. I think it's, if anything, unfortunate that Matty did disconnect when he did. I'm sure he didn't do it deliberately, but UEA did look like they were playing much better. It was a much more interesting game to watch. It wasn't such a shutout like it was in game 1.
Absolutely.
It was much more useful being sorted out. We're reassured, so I can reassure you it's being sorted out, and this UEA team probably didn't want that break, but have it they will, and that's just how it's going to be for them. As we go back into this, we will be, I think, restarting the game, although I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen from here. Obviously, the servers had to be remade because we don't have the pausing facilities that are left to larger tournaments, but it will be perhaps a bit more of a team event to get this game back onto where it was. Both teams still yet to join, but this is really not what UEA would have wanted, I don't think. They were very, very sportsmanlike to take it because they didn't have to. They simply could have just kept playing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And really no one could have faulted them. At the end of the day, it's not their fault that Matty, had internet issues or whatever it was that went wrong, but they were the epitome of good sportsmen, and they chose to leave that as a game unfinished, and I think really that's a sort of victory in itself for them. They've definitely taken the upper hand, because you can only imagine what kind of messages they might have received had they taken that game too and then used it to springboard into a series win. So perhaps some public image things going on at the moment, but we'll be seeing what happens here as these two teams are back in the lobby. We await for the final verdict. I believe it was approximately 1 minute 30 on the clock that Matty began to have problems, although, like you said, neither of us actually noticed it until... Okay, the call is through. 2 minutes is the restart, and obviously the game was tied anyway, so whether it's 0-0 or 1-1 is almost immaterial. And the restart will happen at 2 minutes in this game 2 of a best of 5. As we were talking about before, very crucial for both of these two teams to take this win if they want to really cement themselves in this group as a top 3 finisher. Here we go. The pause has taken effect. We are going to start from 2 minutes, and UEA will look to regain some of that magic that we had them finding just before that unfortunate disconnect from Matty. We're starting at a neutral kickoff. 2 minutes left, 1 goal each, back on the clock. And this is really, it will be hard for UEA to take should they lose this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but then again, this series could have gone either way, but it seemed like they had some sort of momentum established, and I hope they can carry this through onto this one. But so far they looked, as you already said, a lot better. They basically did what we asked of them, which is play at their best in defense. Yeah, which is a lot to ask for, but so far they've been able to execute on it. Yeah,
and I mean, it's going to be interesting because I think certainly if I was on that UEA side, I would be really struggling at the moment not to try and reach too far for the kind of momentum that they had before and try and overextend to get it back to what they perceived, was a good run, and it was a good run of play. But you don't want to try and, almost live in the past and try too hard to get it back to how it was. You just need to keep playing this game as it is and not stretch too hard because you were doing fine before. And they seem to have done quite well. As we approach a minute left in this shortened end to game 2, I'm proved immediately wrong as Matty slots it in 2-1 for Kit in this very, very strange game 2.
Yeah, was it Supreme? I don't know if it was
just got
Supreme.
Stuck on the post, I think it was.
Yeah, it was just also like flying by before that. I think it was KJ who went for a challenge that he couldn't really make, and there was Ant-Man on the post. So yeah, anyway, kind of as we were praising their defense, looking a bit off there, and with only 1 minute left to play, of course, this hurts because now this gives all the momentum back to Kid C, and they can look to maybe even close out the second game, get to match point in this series.
Yes.
But we have seen that UA are able to come back from distance. Do they have it in them? Come back within 30 seconds.
I think for even the neutral viewer at this point, you'd hope they do, because beating Kit is hard enough. Reverse sweeping is bordering on the impossible, as Arno knocks us down to the left, but it's straight to Supreme, who reads it well. Kit retreating, and that's going to be a very awkward touch. Pads reads it well. KJ in for the shot. It's going to come off the bar, but not before Arno gets a touch on it. But Ant-Man's up now, and that's a free shot. He slots it in with just over 10 seconds left. UEA have tied it again.
And I mean, that is a great bump onto Mati there from
brilliant.
KJ.
Ah, what placement as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Ant-Man absolutely gets the right spot there. And with only 11 seconds left, this is huge for UEA. They just got to be careful not to concede an immediate kickoff goal here.
Yes, that would be soul-destroying. Oh, Matty's got that across. Supreme will get there. I think he's just going to let it drop, which is wise, I think, on reflection for them. And we go into overtime here in Game 2. This is crucial for both teams, but UEA really the ones with a point to prove here, as Pads again going for that demo off the air dribble play. Supreme knocks it over one. He's only got one to beat, but it's Matty, so he's not going to do it very cleanly. Ant-Man knocks it up onto the backboard, but doesn't get there. Matty gets back to it just about quick enough, and Pads clears it around KJ, and Ant-Man gets dunked by Matty to get hit back on the offensive in a very, very quick start to this overtime.
Yeah, they got to watch out for those challenges, for those 50-50s against KDC, because they know how to do it. But that is an unfortunate touch there, and
that's on its way in.
Crazy redirect there from Ant-Man, almost lots of past Mati.
Yeah, I think in fact it was Arno on the goal line. He did brilliantly well, but so did Ant-Man to get such power on that redirect. KJ's in all sorts of trouble, but Supreme's going to bail him out on the back line, and he'll get back to that ball. Will he get back to it again? Just about, but Arno will now have that, and this is beginning to look a little bit threatening for Kit here. Who's up for that? It's Pads down, but the shot is easily saved by Supreme, who launches the ball a very long way, and again Arno caught a little bit flat-footed and perhaps a little bit far up. Gives UEA that window to come back. Ant-Man's up, but not quickly enough. KJ gets the bump, the doink, I should say. Pops it over to Arno, but nearly a minute and a half gone in this overtime. Both teams had chances, neither team converted.
Yeah, it's been a pretty slow overtime up until now. Ooh. Ant-Man with another crucial save. He's been stellar in defense.
Oh, this could be better. Supreme
UEA side.
One boost. I don't think he's going to be able to do much with that, but KJ's there, just makes the read poorly. Matty's up, not going to get that past Ant-Man unless he does something spectacular, but it's bought them enough, and that's going to be very awkward for KJ, who just gets a touch. Who's next to the ball? It's Ant-Man, knocks it off to the right-hand side. Arno's been beaten by it as well. Ant-Man is there, knocks it over to Supreme. Can he get the touch into the goal? No, he can't. Just try to play around Pads, who's alert to that danger. Ant-Man's going to knock that high, and that might come down very favourably for them. Ant-Man probably had the read, but so did the defensive Kit SC. Arno pushes it down the right-hand side, gets demoed for his troubles, and it's really beginning to heat up here in this overtime in Game 2.
Yeah, and Ant-Man is really everywhere on the field now.
Yeah.
He's looking for an MVP performance here, but so far, what they do need is another goal. Oh, that is a great demo from KJ, but unfortunately no follow-up, and Ant-Man had to rotate back to get that boost. But they're starting to get some control over KDC's half now.
This is better, and Supreme is up. That's very optimistic, and he's gone past the ball. Ant-Man, last man challenge, does very well. Supreme is there. It's just going to be a brilliant passing play. Not quite, there's no boost, but KJ will knock it in. Wasn't pretty, but who will care on that UEA team as they level the series at one apiece?
I mean, it was a great challenge from Ant-Man. I think he had no boost left either against Arno there to be able to keep that in play. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the kind of risk you got to take when you're playing against a team like KDC, because you don't get too many chances to be able to win these overtimes.
Oh, I mean, there you go. That's 3 goals off 4 registered shots from UEA. Of course, that is a slightly skewed statistics table because we did have to pause that game 3, but I can't imagine it would have been many more than that. They were on the defensive side for most of that game. Hit, even though we restarted that game at 2 minutes, so we played about a 5-minute game, I believe. That was almost 3 minutes of overtime. 10 shots. Again, only one of them went in, which is testament, I think, to the UEA defense and how well they turned that around. But they are, like we were saying, Captain Clutch. They show up when it matters, and that UEA team, I think, probably put in the best single game performance a team has put in against Kit so far. Although, that said, of course, Kit have lost to Rotterdam. We didn't see it. I don't believe it was on stream.
True. Yeah,
but the more I see this Kit team play, the more I wonder if it was the same Kit team playing against that Rotterdam side. I feel like, from what we've seen of Kit and from what we've seen of Rotterdam, for Rotterdam to take a series against Kit 3-1 seems very unlikely. Not that I'm discrediting Rotterdam, I'm sure it's possible. But this Kit team looks so consistent. And I mean, we have confirmation it was the same team. So this Kit team, definitely beatable.
Yeah, I mean,
they've got, UEA seem to have their rotations sorted out as we go into this game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, Rotterdam did have Kallio for that match. Subbing in for Juicy, I believe.
Oh,
and
yes,
Supreme, 10 seconds in this third game, already looking to get another goal. Yeah, UEA can definitely expose these defensive errors or defensive hesitations there on the side of KTC, and it just got to continue down the way that we're going already, and got to be careful not to double commit here in midfield.
Well, yes, but you say that was a very rare double commit from Kit in the midfield as well. I think, unusually for a team of their caliber, they are beginning to feel the pressure from this UEA side. They're getting a little bit skittish. They have to try not to overcommit. This is going to be very awkward, and Matty turns it in excellently. I think he might have even got some touches on the goalkeeper in along the way. Let's have a look at him down there on that back line. No, Supreme's got a little bit caught out. That touch, that 50-50 up in the air, high, came straight down off the ceiling, didn't expect it, and the gift, but it's one Kit will happily take, 1-0.
Yeah, super awkward there for Supreme to be able to both read that ball and basically challenge Matty there. So, yeah, almost impossible. As soon as Matty gets that touch, it's basically a goal.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Then again, plays like these that won't happen too much in this series, and UEA still looking good so
Brilliant
far.
Presence of mind from Supreme there to take that round. He's got a technically past all 3 of them. It's a beautiful fake, completely sold pads, but Kit scored the first goal in game 2. This is definitely, it's not had that typical Kit spiral effect that we often see, where you get one goal and suddenly you get many more, and UEA seem to be holding their own still, despite the fact that they're down. That's a key touch from Ant-Man, but Pads is going to be up there first. Matty not going to reach that with the limited boost he has, and UE have managed to keep control of their corners. Arno's going to get to that, though, and that's a bit further than I think the front man of UEA was expecting. There we go. Supreme is away. Is he going to get round it in time? Not before Matty gets back to it, but still promising as we approach the halfway point in this game 3.
Yeah, gotta be careful though. Don't have enough booster in defense right now. Ant-Man sitting on 0 boost. Crucial pickup there of his corner boost. And now Pads is alone with 0 boost in offense. It's going back and forth a bit, but it feels like there's just one big play about to happen on either side that could...
Oh, this could be it. That's a very open net. KJ is going to take that all day long. I'm impressed again with Supreme. I don't think it will come up on the replay. This was a great pass, but what I'm more impressed with was, again, that presence of mind right on his goal line. Wait for that dribble to play itself out. He was aware, he had confidence. I think it was Matty had taken it too far, wasn't going to get that back flick into the goal, so he just waited for him to completely exhaust all of his boost and just had a free shot at the ball. And I don't think many players in this scene would have such awareness and just calm to be able to pull that off like Supreme did.
Oh, absolutely. And last game, it looked like Ant-Man was the guy to watch, especially there in defense with some crucial saves. This time it looks like Supreme found his form. He's been very present on the field, as you said already. And looking for plays like these, even gets the bump there on Matty. Unfortunately, not really resulting in anything for his team.
No. And again, look there, straight away, 2-pass connection on the back line to get the clear away. And KJ is going to knock this even further. He might get back to that because that's going to come down off the ceiling. Pads knocks it back, but Ant-Man is there. KJ is there. Is Supreme going to get there? Nobody's committed. So this could be a bit of a problem for KJ with all 3 of his boost on the way back on his defensive rotation. They managed to make it. Ant-Man gets a generously credited save for that shot that was never going to trouble anyone. Matty perhaps misread that slightly. Is that going to sneak in at the near post? Not quite. Pads is making it look much more dangerous than it did have to, I think. But again, as the clock ticks down, there's still plenty for both teams to get out of this game.
Yeah, we have seen some of this from Kid2C in the past already, be it in Uniliga or EUR, where they are struggling to execute their game plan, and then they are somewhat lost in defense sometimes. They struggle with their rotation, and then they are a bit too hesitant. And UEA are looking better and better with every minute passing now, and that is promising for the British squad here.
Yeah, it is. And I think, like you say, if they can hold their nerve, they are finding these problems with KSC. I think better than we've seen anyone do it so far. They've spotted gaps, they've exploited them very well, they've put enough pressure on KSC that they've felt nervous enough to occasionally double commit and overcommit for the ball, which is more than most teams would manage against Kit on their own. So UEA really holding their own here, and there's the final 30 seconds ticks down. Supreme has an empty net. Does he have enough boost? He does, and that's just going to wobble into the bottom right-hand corner. They'll take it, and it might well take them game 3. It was just an important misread from Pads there on the wall. She won't be too happy with herself about that, but still time left on the clock for the Kit2C squad.
Yeah, that's a classic, though. A Pads whiff leading to an open net and a goal for the opponent.
Ooh,
and
another.
KJ almost finds another one. That would have certainly sealed the deal. But
here we go.
It's once again looking pretty good for UEA. They find these openings, but Arno second to that goal against the Preem.
And unless they can get the full court carry on that, which UEA ensure they can't, that's a very commanding game 3. UEA really in a very strong position now. It's worth remembering, of course, that at this point, even every game will count. If they end up on the same record as someone, it will go down to their game differential, almost like goal difference in conventional football. UE have taken 2. No matter what happens in this series now, they've taken at least 2, which, looking at the Kit2C record, not many teams have managed, and looking at the other teams' records, I don't think, for Warwick to take 2 against Kit2C would be quite something. So, if you're a Warwick fan, you're rooting for UEA.
Oh, yeah.
But they've still got it all to do here. I think don't count this Kit team out just yet.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, I still hope for Kit2C to get it together and maybe pull up a victory here, because that would certainly
put them in
yeah, I mean, it's also put them in a better spot for them to actually make it to the last round of 6. And as a German caster, of course, I want them to.
This is your, we've got opposing viewpoints on this, I'm sure. But
yeah, but I'm not biased,
progress.
Of course.
No, I would like to see them progress. They've played very well, and I think, obviously, if they do go out, they will start to look back at the unfortunate first week failure to turn up against one of the easiest teams in the group, which has gone down as a 0-3 loss, and that will hurt. If they end up going out because of that, I think they'll be quite unhappy with that. But at the same time, it's this is now their last chance to make anything of themselves, if you see what I mean. This is their last game in the groups. Win this and they set themselves up very nicely, but lose it and they're going to have to be nervously watching and waiting to see what happens in other matches. And sure, we've all been there watching teams we follow or playing ourselves. That's not something you want to be doing. So this game 4, crucial for the Kit2C squad.
Absolutely, and they showed some nerves. It looks like this stressful week is really getting to them. And I hope they can, get it together now, but already UEA looking to put their pressure onto Kit2C's defense.
Yeah, UEA, what I really like about them is that they play an almost fearless style of Rocket League, no matter, look at Ant-Man there, just a perfect case in point. Supreme bumped off on the back line with maybe 30 boost if he's lucky. KJ got a dubiously good air dribble. Does Ant-Man mind? No, of course he doesn't. He's just going to barrel in looking for bumps, and he'll probably get some, and then they'll probably do quite well out of it. And again, here, look, straight up to KJ. He's got a technically open net, and that's an awkward touch, which Supreme will convert on. Very well read from him, because that came very awkwardly off the top back. I think that was Matty. Could have probably done a bit better, and maybe more luck than judgment for Supreme, but the UEA boys won't care. That's 1-0.
Yeah, a result of many weird touches there we've seen from KJ, but it worked out somehow.
Yeah.
And in the end, no one's going to mind that one.
Not in the
All that
slightest.
counts is the goals, and UEA are looking really strong right now in this fourth match. Already getting a lot of control, going for these passing plays, and look at this, it's beautiful. And Kid C are struggling to get their foot back into this game.
They are. That's a fantastic pass from Ant-Man. That scoop should be outlawed, really. That was much further than he had any right to put that ball, but Supreme expected it, so Supreme got it, and that's 2-0. But like we were saying last week, you know, it doesn't matter. They all count for one. So Supreme has a goal that's probably at least twice as good as the one that he just scored a minute ago, but 2 goals are 2 goals, no matter how you score them, and now Kit are going to have to score them if they want anything out of this. UEA, of course, on match point.
Yeah, and if they were stressed before this game, they are definitely stressed now. Or if they weren't stressed before this game, they're definitely stressed now. Because now they're with their backs against the wall, down 2 goals. And they really need to get this. And Hats at least puts 1 in. And there's plenty of time left on the clock.
There is, and UEA won't be happy with that. Ant-Man, I think, just a bit far up, and Supreme expected a touch that wasn't there. Hads finds a very, very small gap, but find it she does, and like you say, the deficit is halved with plenty of time left to play.
And that is a sign or course of action that we had to see from Kidasina, but Supreme already going for flip resets there.
Imagine doing that against KTC.
The confidence in UEA is beautiful right now, and that is how you beat a team like KTC. You can't be on the back foot all the time.
You need the confidence.
You need to be confident.
You need to just go, you know what? I'll go for all of these fancy plays, and I'll probably score enough of them that we'll win. Because most teams playing a team like Kit, they'll go, right, so the key is not to concede. But in Rocket League formats, there are no draws. So playing not to concede is never really going to work out for you, because you have to score eventually. And UEA seem very keen on doing that, and they might do it again here. Supreme looks for the corner and he can't quite find it. Heartbreak for UEA. KJ gets a demo and knocks it straight back to the near post. Pad's in all sorts of predicaments there, but she manages to get herself back onto it. Supreme looks perhaps for Ant-Man, but well cut out by Matty, who follows it down. He might get another touch off the corner here. UEA again in all sorts of trouble. I think, again, more luck than judgment kind of clear there, but it'll work for them at the moment, although Kit SC really beginning to ramp up the pressure.
Yeah, struggling to get boost now in defense. 2 crucial pickups there, and Ant-Man with a great clear. And Kit SC can't really get control back over the ball, and that is a great dunk and a good challenge, good pass, but Ant-Man a bit too far forward there.
Yeah, I think Supreme
probably anticipating a different
far
touch.
Out. Yeah, just launched it a little bit of a communication issue. That corner boost has just been snapped up by Matty, who's knocked it across and bumped the defender. Don't think even Arno expected that, so the shot wasn't on target. Supreme looking for a long clear, and he'll get a fairly long clear. Ant-Man's already there, and he'll extend it even further. That's going straight back to KJ, so UEA in control, and of course still in the lead. I think it's almost forgettable at the moment because of how much pressure Kit FC are putting them under, but UEA have everything they need to take a shock win against them and really cement themselves top of this group.
Yeah, that would be one hell of an upset that nobody expected in this group. But UEA looking strong, and rightfully so, would put them in this tough position. Great bump once again onto Ant-Man. That could have been a 3rd goal for them even. It was in a very good spot, but KTC trying to find that opening, trying to make it work. There's not much time left, and crucially, UEA always connect with these clears in midfield.
Supreme! I don't think he expected that ball to come back to him. I can't say I expected it to come back to him. There's a huge whiff on defense there, and they're getting a little antsy now, these UEA boys. This is not the time to start double committing. This is not the time to start missing the ball. Another huge double commit. Neither of them ended up hitting it, but Supreme again knocks it far away. He's there when you need him, dependable. He knocks it into the corner. Matty's got it. Matty flicks it up high. This is the kind of thing that Arno really likes, and he's gone for the backboard. He won't get back to it again, but Ant-Man's made that much harder than it needs to be. KJ up off the ceiling as the final seconds tick down. Ant-Man needs to make the save, and he does. All this ball needs to do is hit the ground, and it does. East Anglia take a commanding victory in the end. The first game went pretty wrong for them, but they righted the ship incredibly quickly and didn't even need the fifth game to beat pretty much everyone's top pick for Group B.
Yeah, I'm amazed by how this EUR summer season is turning out.
Yeah.
Because we have some new contenders here, new rising stars in the form of UEA.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they look better than anyone expected them to look like. And I'm glad to see some new faces in the scene here.
Yeah, and I mean, with that, of course, we now pivot away on stream from Group B. We're heading back to Group A, but there are still games playing. They're playing now. They're going to be happening, obviously, because there's 3 rounds of fixtures for many teams in this final week. We'll keep you appraised of what happens. As it stands, the top 2 are pretty much locked off now. Both UEA now 6-0, still undefeated in this group, which is an amazing set for them. Yeah, and they play Warwick in their final game, which if they can play like that, you'd expect them to finish off their undefeated streak. Even if they don't, they're only going to be able to, at worst, match Rotterdam, who are still playing Tilburg United on my most updated version of the standings. I will just double check that. But that means the top 2, whichever way round they are going to probably be, or are going to definitely be, UEA and Erasmus Esports, both on 5 wins now. As for these final sets, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. Obviously, Warwick now, they have to play the UEA Blue Jays. That's going to really decide whether or not it's Warwick or Kit that we see. Darmstadt are out now. They've gone down to 2-4. Tilburg down to 2-3. So Tilburg could technically, potentially make a comeback, but it would be a hell of a turnaround for their game differential. Will be all eyes on Warwick in this Group B now to see what they can pull off against this UEA team, because I believe all they need to do is better Kit's result against UEA. Except they didn't sweep Darmstadt. They have now lost a game against Darmstadt. That puts them on 10 wins and 8 losses in games. Kit are on 10-7. So Warwick now have to beat UEA in order to go through. That is the only way that this will work out for Warwick. They have to beat UEA in order to clinch that top spot. So Kit will be nervously anticipating the result of that final match. For us, however, we are on to Group A, and we will be watching Stenden Northern Lions against the reigning champions of Berlin Phoenix. It's sure to be a good one, and I'm sure, Crafty, that we will see some fantastic gameplay in this Group A, which is still, as we will discuss when we get back, very much down to the wire.
Also ganz ehrlich, 15% Herz sind ja ganz nice, aber du musst definitiv auf das Live-Set gehen, weil es in Kombi mit Shield-Bonus immer viel mehr bringt. Vor allem, wenn du voll auf Konstitution skillst. Dann ist alles vorbei. Besonders, wenn dein Main-Stat in Prozent ist und nicht flat, aber das ist ja eh klar.
Ja klar. walls, we let the monsters in, and now we're running down the halls. No, we can't let them win. There's an evil inside, just lurking way down below. And if I can't hold my breath, then I'm bound to become hollow. Can you say that I've disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? And I reflected on the memories, but I put out that torch. Hey! But I put out that torch. You make me feel like home. You turn around, I feel the breeze over me. You watch your dreams unfold. Let it come around and let it breathe over me. It's time to go away into the light. I feel the calming energy. I see the darkness coming, and I'm calling you to help me set me free. I'm calling for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to what is now the second half of the last week of EUR Summer 2020 group stages. We are now going to be turning our attention over to Group A, which is just as well poised as Group B, as my co-host Crafty will no doubt know. Crafty, what do you reckon?
Absolutely.
We've got to see here. We've got, obviously, we're sort of...
Oh, yeah.
Lots of permutations. None of them are really... there are obviously, the way that this has been run means that a lot of the Group A matches that aren't being streamed have happened. So in fact, I think actually, there are 4 matches left to be played in this entire group. But even at this late stage, there's still plenty to play for many of these teams.
Yeah, especially some of these teams are real close. We do have Berlin playing the Northern Lions. We do have Portsmouth playing the Salford Lions.
Yeah, lots of Lions in this group. Yeah, there's Loughborough Lions as well somewhere.
Lions everywhere. No, I'm wrong. It's not Portsmouth against the Lions. It's Portsmouth against the Foxes.
Yes, Lions and Foxes.
Lions and Foxes everywhere. And Phoenixes.
Phoenix is a very biological group.
Yeah, and the Durham Defenders.
Yeah, well, maybe the less said about them, the better. Unfortunately for them, they are very much out of contention. They went 1-6. I think really for them, the big win was being here. It sounds very patronising, but it isn't. They knocked out, perhaps the best team in Ireland on their way here.
Yeah,
which was no mean feat, but
they did not
staffs.
Yeah, they did not have an animal in their team name, so
that's why. That's what they're probably. You can't defend against Lions. That's what they may have learnt from this group stage. But as for teams that are still in it, Berlin 6-0. I think qualification is at this point assured. It just depends. We're going to see them now against this Northern Lions side. If they take that win, they are obviously assured top spot because no one's going to catch them on an unbeaten record.
Yeah.
If not, Portsmouth do have the chance to catch them, and I think only Portsmouth have the chance to catch them.
Indeed.
But again, it's similar to Group B. The top 2 can go either way, but they are going to be the top 2, one way or another. Third place, much more interesting. Loughborough already finished on 4-3. and they have 13 and 12 overall in games. It's going to get tricky. We're going to be working out maths live on stream and probably getting it wrong, but it's all in the hands of the Northern Lions at the moment. Really, they are the ones with the most games left to play. Is the simple, is the simple logic of it. They are 3 and 2 with 2 games left. They can therefore just guarantee themselves a way through by winning them both. But saying that is a lot easier than doing it, particularly as one of those games is against Berlin Phoenix. Salford are still in it as well, of course, and I mean, they have a game against Staffs, who are at the moment 1 and 5, so you'd almost expect them to win that. Could end up with 3 teams on 4 and 3 here.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, Salford Lions need a 3-0 sweep against Staffs to be able to advance, I believe, to be able to get a better...
Not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this could very well be a 3-way tie at the end for 3rd spot, and then it comes down to win percentage, which is...
Yes, that's something that I got wrong on the broadcast previous, was it is not game differential, i.e. +1, -1, whatever. It's win percentage. So in this setup, a 12 and 11, even though that would still be a +1 like a 13 and 12 is, but a 12 and 11 would be better because it's a higher percentage in this set. So, like you say, even if it comes down to a tied game differential, Salford need the sweep to go 14 and 12 and edge out the percentage, because their head-to-head against Loughborough, I believe they lost. Yes, they were swept by Loughborough. So they need a sweep. That's obviously happening off stream as we speak. Loughborough just need to sit back and hold their nerve. They've done pretty well, considering that Northern Lions still have to play Berlin and the Arctic Foxes, who, despite being 1 and 4, aren't by any means a team to be scoffed at. They are and should, they took Berlin to 5 games, I'm looking at here already. And that's going to be an interesting game for them. We'll see them in action again against the Northern Lions. We are going to be following the Northern Lions through to the end of this group, in effect, seeing their last 2 games occurring, and with it, basically, we'll watch them seal the group.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, if you're a Northern Lions fan, they'll either seal it with them in the top 3 or they'll seal it without them. Like we were saying, it's entirely on them at this point. What they do and don't do will determine. If they win both their games, no one else can really do anything whatsoever.
Oh yeah, and we also have to mention a very important fact about Berlin today, because they will be playing without Tigray, I think, for the remainder of EUR summer.
Yes, I've just seen Leptis join there.
Yeah, so Leptis will sub in for him, and that, of course, is a huge part when it comes to increasing your chances of winning against Berlin Phoenix.
That will have whet the appetite for Northern Lions, I'm sure. Absolutely. They will be quite happy to be seeing that, but I think, there is little else for us to do. We can talk about permutations and combinations and possibilities all day long, but we may as well just see them happen. So let's get straight into this game 1, if the Northern Lions can find the right colour. We will be starting off with them in the orange and Berlin on the blue. Best of 5s again, and not going to be easy. We say, Tigray's not here, so doesn't really work like that when you're playing the Berlin Phoenix. It will help, but it definitely won't solidify anything for the Northern Lions side.
Oh, not at all, yeah. I mean, Nakflo on his own can still carry a game like this. I mean, he's an astonishing striker, and he, at the same time, he racks up so many saves in the game as well. Like, he's everywhere on the field.
Yeah, yes, he really is. And I mean, this Berlin team, I haven't personally seen them play yet, but I've heard good things, and Hyroll about to show me why I've heard so many good things. Leptis might be about to as well. Super sub, gets the bump, Nagflo knocks it into the right-hand corner. It wasn't exactly show-stopping play, but we'll say it again. They all count for 1, and that is 1 for the Berlin Phoenix.
Absolutely. I mean, he also looked like he sort of faked a second touch there as well, Leptis, and it was kind of hard to read for Northern Lions defense to read that. But yeah, Nakflo, as I already said, he's always where he needs to be. He will always find this
goodness.
What a doozy there from Noddy. All of a sudden makes this a tight game again.
That was absolutely brilliant from Noddy. He chased that around so quick. I didn't think he'd get back to that, at least not well enough to do anything except force a 50-50, but He did much better than that, and he's tied the game for this Northern Lions team, who, it's worth mentioning, are missing Callio, arguably their star player, although definitely their newest player, so the chemistry might not be there, but he was instrumental in that win that we were talking about earlier against Kit. So maybe Rotterdam... not Rotterdam, good lord, I'm losing my mind.
We're not in Rotterdam
I'm
right
getting
now.
confused across the Netherlands.
It's the heat. It's the heat.
Do you know what? It is the heat. It must be about 30 degrees in my room, and it's not getting any colder, despite the fact that it's already nearly 9 o'clock.
However, I mean, we did see a great run from this iteration of Northern Lions
Yes,
as well,
now,
I believe.
oh
my goodness, Nagflow.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
Nagflow.
at it again.
Yep. Absolutely brilliant double touch from him there. He's got the Super Saiyan in his profile picture, and I think that's pretty close to going it himself. Locks it into the bottom left-hand corner. And yeah, as you were saying, this Northern Lions team, I believe, final 8 in EUR Spring. Is that right? I'm sure I'll be corrected if it isn't.
Be. Yeah, I mean, and then again, the entirety of the Netherlands basically exceeded their expectations during EUR Spring.
Yes, they did.
And, I mean, they didn't in the end make it to finals, but they were kicking out German and UK teams left and right.
Yeah, they were. There were some big upsets in that EUR Spring split. Of course, it was a slightly bigger split with 32 teams. And like you say, the Dutch teams did beat some of the ones that were expected to go further. Jordan makes a key save there on the goal line, knocks it out to the right. Is he going to get back to it? Not quickly enough, as Hyrule knocks it across. Not fast enough again. Nagflow. Berlin don't need to be fast. They have the lead. They just need to be careful. Noddy knocks it away, but no one's going to get that except Hyrule, who knocks it over to Leptis, who doesn't quite get the push back out mid that he might have been looking for. Hyrule misses the ball entirely, and here we go. This could be a bit more interesting for the Northern Lions.
Yeah, I mean, they get some pressure right now. Berlin basically doing their best to keep the ball in Northern Lions' half, but they can't really make much out of it. They don't create a lot of scoring opportunities. They're basically just buying time as Nagflow somehow gets that one past Cocos Nutrit. Oh my goodness.
I'm just going to call him Coconut, because I'm pretty sure that's what
let's just
that word
call
means.
him Coconut.
Again, I'm sure I'll be very quickly corrected if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure a Coco Snoot is a Coco. I would be very upset with, I don't know, the Dutch as a whole, if it's anything else, but Hyrule. I'm going to shut up my little talk about linguistics with a fantastic redirect for Berlin's third.
Yeah, first redirect comes from Nagflow, the second one comes from Hyrule, and it's
Brilliant touch.
A wonderful touch to get it past the Northern Lions defender there, and it's only a 2-goal lead, and it's still plenty of time left, but Berlin look like they're in full control now of the game.
You might have spoken a bit soon there. Noddy
Okay.
just launches
Cast
that
a
one past
curse.
Leptis. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're just making the game interesting. You say a team's in full control, and suddenly they aren't, which is brilliant for the neutral viewer. Leptis just a bit too far forward, and Noddy, not living up to his crossbar hero title there, slots that firmly into the left-hand side of the goal, and they're within one again.
Yeah, I mean, Noddy, once again, I think it was his second shot. It was his third shot at least, but he's been the only one even creating some sort of danger for the Northern Lions, and he is that guy to watch for this Dutch squad. If he can pop off, if Jordan and Coconut can give him some space, create opportunities for him, then they do indeed have a chance to beat this Berlin squad.
They do, even without Callio, who's never played for them ever. But as the final minute approaches, they will need to do some more of that chance creation and goal scoring that you were talking about. This might be a chance, and Jordan doesn't quite get the pass right, just runs out of Boost. Boost doesn't come back for him either. There's nothing in the middle there, which is going to make this a big push for Berlin. Hyrule could have stayed up the backboard for that, didn't fancy it, and you can see why with defense like that. Nagflow just over the bar, that will seal it. Leptis knocks it in off the post. 2 goals in 47 seconds is doable, but it doesn't seem likely for this Northern Lions side.
Yeah, that looked messy in defense there. Struggling to really get to the ball ever. And not really, a lot to do there for Noddy on the line. I don't know if he was the only one with boost left in the tank, but yeah, they were way too hesitant on these challenges, allowing Berlin to rotate completely. And yeah, that could have very well sealed the deal already for this first game.
Yes, you're very right. It could well have done. And as these final seconds tick down, Nagflow set it up to Leptis, who's pinched it. It's not pretty for the Lions defense again, but that doesn't really matter when you're Berlin, and that will seal game 1 in the favour of the team in blue.
He didn't really...
And I think that was just maybe a bump, or maybe just an outright own goal.
It looked like an outright own goal, to be honest.
I think he was a little bit
he probably got pushed
Certainly,
into
I don't know if he was actually hit, but he was definitely forced into an awkward touch. Can't really blame him too much. Nagflow testing the strength of the woodwork with that one. Happily, it's all made of pixels, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Leptis knocking that one across. I'm not quite sure what Coconut was attempting with that. It was a little bit far back and turning into a little bit of an onslaught here. Hyrule gets the credit. I'm really not sure how he managed to touch that, but I'm sure he won't be complaining. That's more points on the board for him. And Berlin, definitely a commanding victory here in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, in case anyone doubted, this Berlin squad could still look dominant without Tigray, is proven wrong now.
Definitely, and they might get a 7th here. And it will just gently drop in. High roll, I believe that's a hat-trick now for him. Yes, it is. Again, is it pretty? Probably not. I mean, the goal explosion is, but the goal itself, not so much. And a buzzer beater that doesn't mean anything at all as Berlin take the first game by 5.
Yeah, to be honest, I did not expect that. But
no.
I mean, of course, Berlin still quite the strong team. We talked about it earlier, and yes, Nagflow is always fun to watch. But they made it look so easy, to be honest. And we had these 2 pop-up moments from Naughty that made it look like they could potentially challenge Berlin. But yeah, other than that, we didn't really see anything.
No.
That's basically been it. They've been stuck in defense for the majority of this game, and by the majority, I probably mean like 90%.
At least,
and,
yeah,
and of course, you're not going to win a game like that against a team like Berlin.
No, you're really not. And I mean, there you go. It's 12 shots for the Berlin Phoenix, only 4 of which were saved, which leaves 1 to bounce off the post, and 7, as we've seen, to go in. It wasn't pretty if you're a fan of the Northern Lions, but I think it's worth mentioning. I've just now had a quick look along that bottom side of this Group A bracket. Berlin have lost 2 games. Not matches, 2 games.
Yeah.
This entire split so far. So one can hardly fault the Northern Lions for not doing quite so well. Berlin, like we say, 18-2. Well, 19-2 now, and get into this game 2, they could be looking to make it 20. We'll just have to see as Hyrule knocks that one down. Noddy's there, equal to it. Leptis, again, not looking particularly comfortable. I think he might have a bit of jitters. I probably would if I had to fill Tigray's shoes, but just needs to calm down a little bit on the ball. That's a good clear, but again, not really to anyone. That's made deliberately awkward by Coconut, who sets it up well for Noddy, who reads it at least equally well, but it doesn't quite work out. Jordan knocks it across. Hyrule clears it out. The first 30 seconds come to a close. Both teams had little attempts, but not much to speak of for either side just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Berlin are your EURC champions for a reason, and they showed it in game 1. They got to make it count, though. I mean, they had an equally dominant run, I believe, in spring. Where they basically didn't lose any match until, or any game until I believe it was the quarterfinals or something. It was pretty insane. Yeah. But
oh my goodness,
Hyrule testing his own woodwork there. That looked interesting, but he somehow makes it work. But there's little to no boost left, and the tanks of this Berlin defense, and Northern Line could look to punish that.
Ooh. That was almost brilliant from Noddy. He knew exactly what to do. Like you say, spotted that the Berlin defense had no boost, so took it straight up into the air where they knew that no one could catch it. Unfortunately, the goal isn't in the air, so we had to bring it back down again, and that was when Berlin got it back under control. But it was much better already from the Lions. I think by this point they'd conceded at least 3 in game 1, so it's already an improvement, and we saw this with UEA just before. The first game was a bit of a wash, and then after that it became quite competitive. And of course, it's worth remembering, as we've been talking about psychologies of these teams a fair amount so far, Northern Lions have a lot more to play for than Berlin. They're already pretty much through. Berlin, that is, I should say. Northern Lions, however, are definitely not assured anything, so they really have a lot more on the line.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, they do not have to win this one against Berlin to be able to advance. They would have to win their next one against Portsmouth, though. So, like, being able to maybe get a win here, or at least make it a very close series, is crucial for them to then later on play a lot more relaxed against Portsmouth.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, good luck playing relaxed against Portsmouth.
Yeah.
But, like you say, every game is going to count from this point onwards. Northern Lions are, unusually for a team at 3-2, sitting on 12-8 game differential. It'll be 12-9 now, and it might be 12-10 if Nagflow has anything to do with it. Slots into the right-hand side. The defence just falls apart a little bit there. Noddy panicked, perhaps, wasn't called off quickly enough, and the touch just goes straight across.
Yeah, I couldn't cancel the touch, really, and it looked like Coconut would have been able to get a good clear to the side, but Noddy, with that awkward flick, makes that an impossible task for Coconut. And with that, yeah, they're on the back foot again, which, of course, isn't what you want to be when you're playing against this Berlin squad. You don't want to overcommit, you don't want to have to dictate the pace of the game, especially since Northern Lions look like it's not what they do most of the time. They basically just want to go for these counter-attacks and then find Noddy, who will slot it in somehow.
Yeah, he very nearly, somehow is a very key word in what he very nearly just did, but Nagflow's not going to need any somehows, he's just going to do it. That's his second, and Berlin's 2-0.
Yeah, and that has been that overcommitment. I mean, they've been
stretch
in the Berlin half for quite a while. They committed for that awkward attempt there, and Nagflow, of course, he's the kind of guy that will use these counterattacks immediately in a high roll with a crucial save there after a nice touch from Jordan.
Yeah, like you say, I think almost Berlin can sort of give that bit of space, but the Northern Lions just can't, because that counterattack will be 8-9 times out of 10 committed and scored on, but Noddy's going to make it competitive here.
Yeah.
Shot was about as close to the middle as you could be, but that was only because the goalie was coming in from the side, and the deficit is halved in favour of the Northern Lions.
Yeah, high roll with a touch onto the corner there that you don't want to have in defense, to be honest.
Not really.
Because we'd always favor the attacker's side. Yeah. And Noddy makes it count. Nagflow almost gets the save, but I mean, he can't be everywhere. And with that,
which probably annoys him quite a lot, knowing Nagflow. I would imagine that he'd really very much like to be everywhere, but like you say, he isn't, and he can't be, and that was a good touch from Noddy, but no one there to follow it up as we go into the final minute. Berlin again with the pressure. Coconuts a bit optimistic on that, and it's going to cost them. Just sneaks in between the two players and slots in what I believe to be his first goal of the series, although I wouldn't be at all surprised if he got one in that 7-goal
I think he had one. Yeah, he had one as well. But,
well, there you go. His second goal of the series.
Yeah, but then again, yeah, it's I actually want to go back to that touch you were mentioning from Noddy, because that was pretty strong and opened up a great opportunity. But that's what we were seeing. Like, when it's not Noddy being there to score, the rest of the team is not really following up. And that is a huge problem, because they were down 1 goal already. They could have been a little bit more aggressive. Both Northern Lions players, Jordan and the Coconut, were in their own half at that point. And yeah, if they played that a little bit more aggressive, that could have been the equalizer. Now they're down 2 goals again, and this is pretty much over. Yeah,
it is. And like you say, I think it's... We were saying with UEA, what we really liked about watching them was that no matter the situation, they'll just do it. They're not going to overcommit, but they will willingly throw themselves at anything that looks like it has a chance. And that is the kind of confidence you need against a team like Berlin Phoenix. And so far, the Northern Lions haven't been showing it. They've been a bit timid, like you say. Only Noddy has really been going for anything. And if Noddy's the one making the pass, Noddy's not the one who's taking the shot. And so... That's the kind of thing that they need to work on a bit here, the Northern Lions. They just need to push up a bit further. That ball drops, takes Berlin on to match point. This one could be over in a flash, but like we were saying, every game will count, so there's still lots to play for NHL Stenton.
Yes, absolutely. And it looked already a lot better compared to game one.
That was a vast improvement.
And if they capitalize on those opportunities a bit more, and go for, as you said, go for more confident plays, especially from Jordan and Coconut.
Yeah.
Then we could very well see them take a game or two in this game, in this series. And this is what, as we said, this is all they should hope for. I mean, getting 2 games off of a Berlin squad that only lost 2 games for the entirety of this group stage so far
Sounds pretty good
huge.
to me. Yeah. And like you say, it just, every game will count. And judging by this, they lost by 5, then they lost by 2. So next time they should win by 1, if that sequence is to hold. But for a team on 3-2, they have a fantastic game win percentage. I'm going to try and do some quick maths, and I'm not going to be able to do it under pressure. I think it's 60%. Yes, it is. 12-8 makes them 60% game win, which is a very, very good place for them to be. I mean, they're not there anymore, obviously, because this score hasn't been put in yet. But even if they get swept here, they will still have a positive game win at 3-3, which means if they can take the win on the Arctic Foxes, they will, in all likelihood, out percentage Loughborough, if that was a phrase that anyone else used except me. But Loughborough on 13-12 means that the Northern Lions, if they lose this, will go down to 12-11. They would need to beat the Arctic Foxes by more than 3-2, because if they remain... No, that's not true. I can't do maths. They would only need a win against the Arctic Foxes, provided even if they lose here, they just need to win against the Arctic Foxes, and that will be enough to take them past Loughborough, as they will have 2 clear games ahead. But of course, if they can get that win now, they can get 2 wins now. What happens in the Arctic Foxes game is much less important, so why not do the work while it's in front of you?
Absolutely. I mean, that just shows again how important these single wins can be in a best-of-5 series.
My goodness.
Ooh, Knackflow already looking for these shots, and if he receives... I mean, he's been playing with high roll for the majority of the Uniliga run as well, so these 2 guys got used to each other. And usually it's Tigray going for the passes, but high roll has been shown and improving a lot that he's able to do that as well.
Yeah, it's been brilliant from Berlin so far, really. There's not been much you can fault them for, and Knackflow's basically worked that out of defense on his own. Is there anyone to follow it? There is. Is it going to get followed properly? No, it isn't, and high roll knocks that back. Jordan's up, but he's not getting anywhere on it because Knackflow's got an outrageous touch that's covered the length of the opposition half. Coconut trying to play it slow, might have actually been a little too slow, and Knackflow's now here with a bit of a boost and a flick. Not quite good enough. Noddy clears.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. You can't give Knackflow too much space. You always have to send someone for that challenge to at least force him to do something, because if you give him too much time, he will almost always find a way to get it past you. Oh, and
dear.
team bums like these, we don't want to see. And if you're a Northern Lions fan, you don't
really don't want to see. Yeah, that's not pretty, but it doesn't seem to have hurt them too much, although Knackflow might be about to make them pay. What a read from him coming down off the waterfall there, so hard to get the hang of, but doesn't seem to be phasing him. This one's free for Coconut to hit, but he's just lobbed it straight back to Knackflow, who's going to lob it straight over his head, and this is the difference. Berlin are following the ball, and that dunk nearly gets them the reward for it, but at the moment, Lions are just committing 1, maybe 2 players if you're lucky. And none of them are scoring, although Jordan commits his 3rd man, which was risky, but I think he knew what he was doing. Just gone half-time in this game 3, and they have a lead.
Yeah, I think Lattis was calling for a pass onto Knackflow there in midfield, but great anticipation there from Coconut. He immediately gets one onto the backboard and forces a multiple-man commit in defense. Looked a bit messy, but great follow-up. This is the kind of follow-up that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Of course, it was kind of risky to go there as a 3rd man, but I mean, he knew that he was set up well to do so.
It's going to be a clean beat.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see from Northern Lions. Find that confidence as when you're Jordan and Coconut to go for that play and make it work.
But again, we're noticing now straight away, as soon as they have the lead, they're just sitting back and watching it disappear in front of their eyes. And they're going to have to watch it very slowly. As that one trickles across the goal line. Was eventually bumped in by Nagflow. The lead, unfortunately, a matter of 30 seconds for the Northern Lions.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I actually don't know where the entirety of Northern Lions defense was during that play.
One of the world's great remaining mysteries.
Looked pretty empty there in their own half. And it could be even worse.
Oh my
High roll
goodness.
with a great touch. Almost finds the top right corner.
Equally brilliant save there from Coconut as well. That was fantastic work from him. But they need work on offense as well as defense. As Coconut clears that one, but they forced 2 up. Nagflow is there. Knocks that. He's going to get the flick. It's not going to be good enough as Noddy's more than a match for that at the near post. That backboard clear has gone a long way, but is there anyone except High Roll there to get it? There is not. Nagflow into the corner. Noddy gets the boost. He's going for an air carry. It looked like a flick. Fooled Nagflow, but not Leptis, who was well ready behind him. Nagflow puts that high. Jordan's made that awkward for himself, and High Roll in the left corner waiting for it. And then Leptis is there. Nagflow's already up. Berlin really ratcheting up the pressure now.
Yeah, and you don't want to see that because, I mean, even High Roll as well is starting to heat up now. He's got some great shots as well. And sooner or later, it looks like this defense might fall apart. But now is the time for an opportunity for Jordan. But both him and Leptis sort of faked out each other and looked like
such a shame for him as well. He would have easily got to that first if he'd have just believed in it. Noddy will get to that first. Does he drop it down? He does, but Leptis positions himself very well, and all he has to do is jump. High Roll's going to knock that out. No, it's going to be Nagflow down to Leptis. Berlin looking to take this in regulation. They're not going to manage it there. Noddy gets there. He'll get there again. Brilliant work from him as a single man clear. Jordan going to commit to this? No. And again, this is where Northern Lions are going to get caught out. They've let up loads of space in the midfield, which Leptis is going to move into. He knocks it off top to the back wall. Jordan knocks it high. Noddy's going to get rid of that. They should let it drop. I think Coconut's going to try and keep it alive, which is going to be risky because Leptis is there. Knocks it up to High Roll. Berlin looking for the sweep with a buzzer beater, and they will get it. That's heartbreaking for the Northern Lions, but Nagflow's got no time to be messing around. 3-0 to the Berlin Phoenix.
As soon as I hit that, as I saw that ball go up, I knew Nagflow's gonna net it. He's just too good.
Yeah, and that's all you can really say about that. They are just too good, and with that, Berlin seal their place at the top of the group, completely undefeated, and with an impressive 21-2 game record, which I think most teams in this competition would kill for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that has just been a dominant performance, even on their last day now, where they had to play without Tigray. They still look on track to defend their title that they got in spring as URC champions.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because obviously so far, as that's how a group stage works in any tournament, all we've seen is the groups play amongst themselves, which sounds like a bit of an obvious thing to say, but as we go into these playoffs, obviously they'll all start to play each other.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to challenge this Berlin team. Last time we saw them all out in the EUR spring, it was pretty obvious that Kit were going to come out well from one, and Berlin were going to come out well from the other, and they did. And then they all met in the final, and Kit, I think, if I remember rightly, took them to 7 games, which was very impressive. But Kit have not looked that promising so far. There's obviously always the time to change that up.
I mean,
I think all of the teams in Group B have been too busy fighting each other to notice the looming Berlin Phoenix over the hills. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see if any of them can take them down on their way through to the final. But
then again, if I would have told you before this group stage that the only team to challenge Berlin Phoenix is going to be UEA, I mean,
I'll be ridiculed for this, but I would have backed them.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I had them in my top 6 for NSE, and I would have backed them to get it. Maybe not top of the group. This is the thing with UEA. They're a fireworks team, and sometimes fireworks just don't work. It's quite hard to tell if they're going to be really hot or just, decently good. And so far, every week they've shown up perfectly. And like we said, they are through. I'm just going to have a quick look over at the Group B results to see if that Warwick series has finished. Warwick are currently still playing the UEA Blue Jays, so it's still nervous waiting time for Kit SC, who of course aren't even really through at all yet.
Yeah. I mean, this could go either way, but then again, Yes. Okay, they're still playing. Yes. Okay, I thought we would get something there from production. Yeah, but still, I mean, Berlin, Phoenix. Yes, they looked as dominant as we expected it to be. But I mean, for Northern Lions, this is still very possible to advance.
Yes, they now have Arctic Foxes next, correct?
Yes, that is the game that we were.
Yes, the last game we have left. It's the only one, and yes, you're right. It will be the one we're watching next. Like you say, Northern Lions still in their hands. Really, it's all they need is a win, and again against the Arctic Foxes, that's easier said than done, but it can be done. UEA, for those interested, are currently 2-0 up against the Warwick side to finish off that Group B side, so I'm sure we'll have some details about that for you when we come back.
Also, just coming in, the Salford Lions lost their game against Staffs, or they might have had to forfeit it. I don't know, because it's been an 0-3, and
0-3 for the so Salford are completely
So this is no longer a possible 3-way tie. That is something we can take away from this.
We are now down to Loughborough, who are, again, just forced to sit and wait a bit nervously. Apparently, we're getting word through that was a late game hurrah from Staffs, who have beaten both Salford and the Arctic Foxes. Better late than never, I suppose. They've gone 2-5 to round off their thing, but sweep on the Salford Lions.
Okay.
That's put them out of contention, like you say, down at 3-4, so all that remains to be seen is if the Northern Lions can seal the deal against the Arctic Foxes, or if Loughborough, having done nothing all day, will manage to make the qualification. So we will just take our final short break between these matches, and when we come back, we will be watching Northern Lions take on the Arctic Foxes to try and clinch that final spot in the playoffs. Don't go anywhere.
Ich war gestern so hart am Grinden. Die neue Map. Einfach einen DD dabei gehabt mit AOE-Skin und Live-Drain.
Easy, ich habe alle Event-Quests abgeschlossen. Genug extra XP, dann ziehst du noch einen Booster aus der Lootbox, kannst selbst Sets farmen und Levels auch noch genug.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it as I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed.
so fragile, like it was built to break off the
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to what is the final match. I think it actually may well be the very final match of the group stage, both on stream and at all. I am still Atch, and I'm still joined by Crafty. Crafty, we're going to see Liverpool against a Dutch team whose town I'm really not going to try and pronounce. But I'll leave that to you, and you can run us through how this may work, because it's still in Northern Lion's hands at the moment.
I think it's Leeuwarden. Leeuwarden.
It's a German stream, isn't it? So if we say it like someone German...
Yeah, Leeuwarden.
Leeuwarden. Okay.
Yeah.
Liverpool versus Leeuwarden.
Liverpool.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Before we get sidetracked by just going through all the uni teams in a German accent, which I would find very fun, but is probably not what people are watching for.
I'm sorry.
Talk us through the final match and what is happening here for the Northern Lions.
I mean, we saw the Northern Lions a few minutes ago losing against Berlin Phoenix.
Not a surprise.
Yeah, not a big surprise. I mean, they got swept. They had some moments, but in the end, it didn't really matter because while this was going on, Salford Lions were losing against Staffs.
Yeah, Staffs really showed up today.
So that basically made this a two-team run here between the Loughborough Lions and the Northern Lions. Yeah, so there's two Lions. I mean, isn't that great? Yeah, two Lions battling it out. We could have three Lions on the shirt.
Close. We nearly did, but Salford ruined it.
Yeah, but now it's the Northern Lions who just need to pick up a win here against the Arctic Foxes.
Doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah, it doesn't really
particularly dominating. It just has to be a win.
Yeah, it could be a 10-minute Game 5 overtime with an own goal that seals the deal. It doesn't matter. All they have to do is win this series, and then they are guaranteed a spot in the top 3, and they will drop down the Northern Lions. Yes, it is. No, not the Northern Lions. The Loughborough Lions to 4. So, I mean, Loughborough Lions basically just sitting there and watching, hoping for the Arctic Foxes to show up, who are 1-5 currently, who only picked up a win against, I believe it was the Durham Defenders that we saw. Yeah, that we saw last week. And to be honest, I don't have high hopes for this Liverpool squad to beat the Northern Lions, especially seeing now that
Sai's back.
Yeah,
Sai has just rejoined.
Is back in the team. It's not Callio. It's the other one with the C.
They're kind of close, I feel.
I mean, there's a C and a Y in both names.
I'm going to give myself a buy on that one. I think I'm calling that close enough. But yes, that's a huge boost.
Yeah,
the Northern Lions.
So that is already looking kind of grim for the Arctic Foxes. But, I mean, we've seen upsets. We've just seen the Salford Lions lose 0-3 against Staffs.
Yes, although we haven't actually seen that, which is a bit of a shame.
Okay,
I would have quite liked to have watched that, but we didn't see it.
But it happened in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
So so it happened, and that can happen here as well. So
definitely.
Yeah, Northern Lions need to be careful, but they should take this win and should be able to advance to groups to the round of 6, last round of 6.
You'd hope, but Northern Lions obviously are here to win it. Arctic Foxes have a huge chance to play spoiler, and if I know these Arctic Foxes boys, they will love being given such an opportunity. So we'll just have to see what happens in this final best of 5. Liverpool lining up in blue, and our mates over in Netherlands, whose town name I'm still not going for, are in orange. The neutral kickoff. Coconut knocks it down. Sai already trying to stamp himself on this game. Doesn't quite get there. Noddy doesn't really get to that very nicely either, and Wambo's free in that corner already. CLJ straight up, free shot. He doesn't quite connect with it. It's a bit of a jittery start for the Arctic Foxes.
Yeah, that could have been it. I mean, that could have been a great opening. We've seen some lack of reading these these touches correctly that from the Northern Lions, from Noddy and Sai. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already excited to see what Noddy is able to do now.
Oh my goodness.
With Sai on the side, and we see some great passing plays even there from the Arctic Foxes. But looks like they all had to rotate back to grab some boost. And that leaves that offense starving there.
I especially seeing the way they've come out of the gates here, writing off this Arctic Foxes team would be extremely premature. And I think that's gonna fairly instantly put a little pin in my balloon about that. But the way they started until about 5 seconds ago, their playstyle, in a word, is unconventional. The Northern Lions won't have played any teams quite like the Arctic Foxes so far, probably in their lives, but certainly in this group stage. They will go for demos. I think I remember the last time we watched Arctic Foxes, Wambo John got a fantastic double demo to secure them a game. I seem to remember that as a play that stuck out in my head, and they will try things that you just don't think could or should work, and that kind of unpredictability gets teams a long way, and it's got this team a long way. Came up from nowhere in NSE Spring and finished very high. I'm not going to have a stab at what exact position it was, but it was comfortably in a national league that no one expected them to even break into, and it's going to be close. I think closer than many might expect.
Yeah, and especially when you're a team like the Northern Lions who haven't played these guys ever, probably. This is stuff that can catch them off guard that they don't expect. I mean, then again, we see stuff like that. CLJS. I can't remember this guy from last week.
He was there.
Is that his real name? Okay. Do we call him CLJS?
I think I kept calling him CJ last week. I seem to remember calling him CJ quite a lot, and I'm sure he didn't like that very much.
Now. But yeah, I mean,
here he is now.
It's gotta
That's a great shot.
Ooh, yeah. You got to go for these plays. You got to have the confidence. We were talking about it before, and we saw some of that at the start of this game, and the Arctic Foxes have to keep it up.
Yep, confirmation just come through from my lovely stat man in the back that we've got 9th for the Arctic Foxes in NSE, which is certainly nothing to be sniffed at for their first real attempt at NSE whatsoever. Wambo John trying to show us why they came so high up the rankings. CLJ going for a demo. That net's technically open, but Noddy will spawn back and Sai will get the ball anyway. Rowe knocks that up. Noddy's there. Off the ceiling it will come. Sai's going to be there. Not quite quickly enough. And Wambo knocks that down. Straight to Coconut. It's a bit of a neutral play here as the clock keeps ticking down.
Yeah. You mentioned it. The clock's ticking down, and that is what Northern Lions are pretty good at doing. They're just taking time off the clock. They always find these challenges, and as I say that, Coconut is missing that one, and Wambo almost gets a great bump/redirect there.
Yeah.
From the backboard.
He wouldn't have minded which it was, but unfortunately for him, he didn't quite get either of them. I really rate the effort, though. I think the Arctic Foxes, despite having nothing to show for it, have probably played on the whole some better offense so far. It's just been met with an equally good defense from this Northern Lions side. There's a demo. Is that net open? Not quite open enough. CLJ's there, but he's cut off at the brink by Noddy, who's now rule one-ing Wambo. And are they going to respect it? Yes, they are. This is a very, very high-profile environment in which to be doing this, but it is, of course, the first rule of Rocket League, so they don't seem too fast. Rowe now having to play a 2v2, and he's done very well to fake out Sai. Oh, and he's gone for Musty! Rowe has single-handedly put this UOL team on his back with a brilliant finish here, 1-1.
I mean, Sai looked somewhat lost there before that touch.
Just a brilliant fake, just threw him completely out of the play.
I mean, TJ or CLJS or whatever we want to call him. No, it was Rowe. I'm so sorry. Rowe didn't want to take anything away from that, because that was an absolute beautiful Musty in the top right corner, and Coconut had no way of saving that one.
Not in the slightest.
I mean, and that puts Liverpool right back in this game.
Definitely, although it looks like the Northern Lions are getting most of the pressure as these final seconds tick down. That's a good clear, and Wambo's going to get a touch on that. He might get another touch on that. He does, but it's not the one he would have wanted. Unfortunately, not a show-stopping play to end this game 1 in favour of Liverpool. As the final seconds tick down, it could go quite the other way. Wambo again forced to be there in the right time and in the right place. That's going to roll, which is very favourable for them, as that was a very dangerous ball. But we've got overtime in game 1.
Yeah, and I did not expect this, to be honest. I mean, for the most time, it looked like Northern Lions had everything under control. There was really much offensively shown from Liverpool, but then again, there also wasn't a lot to be seen from Northern Lions offense, as Noddy barely misses that ball. That would have been
made
an
them
awkward
think about
touch.
it. No one went for it because they were so worried about what he might do, and this time he's going for it again. You've got the feeling if something's going to come out of this Northern Lions team, it's going to be from Noddy. Sai has definitely played better, but he's not quite fully warm yet. Noddy's going to have to make that save, but that shouldn't be too difficult for him, and it's up for Sai. He doesn't quite get that redirect. Rowe off the corner. Knocks it infield, but not far away from Noddy enough that he doesn't get a touch on it. Sai has made that probably easier for Wambo John, who's going to get the flip reset. No, he's not. He's gone for the bump. Oh, what a play, but Rowe can't get round it. That's heartbreaking for the Arctic Foxes. Wambo John did everything right, but just hit the last touch a little too hard. We'll get another chance at it. CLJ, straight up to the right-hand wall. Is he going to get there again? It's going to be a stretch, and he doesn't quite reach it. And he's run out of boost as well. He might go for that last man. Not quite. Chooses to rotate back. Rowe drops it, and the pressure seems to switch off again a little bit, just for the Arctic Foxes here.
Yeah, but what a great 30 seconds or 40 seconds of pressure there from the Arctic Foxes, and great plays as well. I mean, Wambo with that insane control there. Looking for another one, and he puts it into his own goal. It looked like this one would have been just wide, but I think it was Coconut. Yes, the Coconut puts it into his zone, and no one is going to reach that one again. And Liverpool take game 1 in a series that Northern Lions need to win to be able to advance to the playoff stage.
Yes, but as we were saying before, they don't need to win it by any specific margin.
Yeah,
it's not like they need the next 3 in a row. They need to win. And they didn't look like they were going to win it, really, at many points during that. Liverpool had the vast majority of the pressure. They were playing much better offense, I think, personally. We've seen Northern Lions do better, and I'm sure they will do better in subsequent games. I think, like I said, this Liverpool team takes some getting used to. There's a lot of rather unconventional people appear out of nowhere, and suddenly you're demoed and off the field from a car that you didn't even know was there. It's a very common feature of teams playing against Liverpool that you take game 1 normally to find your feet, but obviously in a best of 5, you take game 1 to find your feet, and suddenly your feet might not be there anymore. So they've got to change things around rather quicker than they might like.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden you can see the musty from Rowe. So Liverpool definitely a force to be reckoned with, even though they didn't have the prettiest run so far in this EUR summer split. So, yes, I mean, Northern Lions, they didn't look like the synergy was fully established yet between Sai and
just
Noddy.
Come back, of course.
Yeah, so I'm still looking forward to see some more of that. More of that synergy, and especially get to, because we were talking about it earlier, give Noddy some room to act,
give space.
Allow him to be that guy to score, allow him to be that guy that is just luring in the back line, waiting for that ball to drop, and then be there first. So I hope for Sai to be able to create just that, but look at this beautiful head ripple from Rowe. I mean, it didn't really create anything, but it looked nice.
Time. I feel it's worth mentioning, as the opening exchanges of this second game are starting here, and Liverpool look like they might score. In fact, they will. Wambo just knocks that in as a completely unanchored goalkeeper can't get near it. But it's worth mentioning as well, we're going to just hop across the pond quickly to Group B. We won't change what's watched, of course, but Warwick are now 2 minutes away from completing a reverse sweep over UEA, and they're 3-0 up in that final game. So that could really start to change things. I believe that would seal Kit SC's exit from the tournament, should Warwick be able to hold that, which would be nothing short of miraculous given where they started. But lots of teams really hanging on the wire now. We've got Loughborough watching nervously. I'm sure we've got Kit watching nervously as well, even though, unfortunately for them, they can't see. So it's going to be very, very tense as these final minutes tick down in both sets of games that we're watching here. But at the moment, Liverpool look like they're going to make Loughborough's day.
Yeah. And, oh my.
Oh,
this is just beautiful. I mean, where has this Liverpool squad been? Rowe with a great touch, and he gets a second
Beautiful
one.
control.
This is just, I mean,
Absolutely
Coconut
brilliant.
is just absolutely trying to do his best to get there, but you
Yeah,
can't
no
defend
chance.
this touch. And where, I mean, you feel like this Liverpool squad, if they had played like that in week 1 or week 2, if they had gotten some sort of consistency, they could have very well be one of these teams that are actually competing for a top 3 spot here, because they are currently beating a team that was looking to get into the top 3.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Warwick... Oh, no, Warwick, if they are now going to win this, will take them up to 13-10 on their final sets, which will be more than enough to beat the 11-10 record of Kit, and they've just scored a 4th, so it's really not looking very good for Kit right now. UEA will have to produce a comeback that even for them would be nothing short of a miracle, as there must be just over a minute left, if not less, in that game. Over here, however, Liverpool have a 2-goal lead, and Noddy's going to try and chase that down so that he can change this, and he might just do it. That was a brilliant recovery from here. Is that going to drop in? Not quite, and Sai couldn't do it. Match has finished in favour of Warwick. UEA couldn't hold on. Means that in Group B, our 3 teams going through do not include second place Kit, as Sai halves the deficit here to keep Northern Lions' hopes alive in Group A.
Yeah, Sai so far has been looking somewhat lackluster, but he finally finds a good touch here, is in the right spot, and receives a beautiful pass from Coconut. A bit too hesitant there on the defensive side of Liverpool once again, but I mean, it's still far from over. It's still in the lead, and they looked very strong so far. They just got to be careful. Northern Lions are starting to heat up, and of course they do not want to be down 2 games in this series, because a reverse sweep is not too likely at this point.
Well, what
we've just
proportion
had
of
one.
casters would have said that when Warwick went 2-0 down against UEA? I think it's fair to say pretty much all of them would have. Wambo just going for a complete quarterback screenplay there. Didn't quite make it work, but ball's on the right side of the pitch for these Liverpool team players here, and that's going to go straight back to CLJ. No, it's not. Sai's cut in quickly, and he's got there. That clear is high, but not very far, but it doesn't matter, because again, the Northern Lions boys lacking a bit of confidence. They're not really pushing very far. That's a demo from Wambo. Not quite enough to stop them turning on that, and now they might be a bit stretched. Rowe, and chased into his corner, knocks it free. Does he have enough for that? Yes, he does. He's got a flip reset. Doesn't really do very much with it, except make it look fancy. CLJ looks to clear it long. He's not going to get there again, and that's a completely open net that I'm not sure Sai realised. As this clock ticks down, the Arctic Fox is starting to look a little bit jumpy.
Yeah, but I mean, time is still in their favor, and yeah, that was awkward. And now no boost left there for Sai as well, so this could very well become difficult to defend, but looked like all 3 players of Liverpool decided to rotate back. I don't know if they had to, or if they just felt like there was pressure to start. Oh my. Rowe, keeping
aerial
a cool
control
head.
again, yeah, it's brilliant from Rowe. He's not really flubbed a ball like that so far. Wambo probably hopes that was on target, but it definitely wasn't. Rowe's going to knock that into his back corner, but it's a bit close to Noddy for CLJ's liking, and it's now completely over his head. Wambo has to make the save, and he can't. It's always going to be hard for him, and Sai makes it impossible. That's 2-2 now in this second game.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate touch there, and Wambo, I mean, is
never
going
to make
to
that.
actually try that, but Sai is just basically, I mean, he's just waiting for that touch to happen from Wambo.
Yeah.
But that's, oh my god, I thought there was no one left, and this was actually going on target, but never mind.
Unfortunately, well, or fortunately, depending on which team you're a fan of in this setup, that wasn't on target for the Liverpool boys. Wambo knocks it out. I think he was trying to find Rowe, but all he found was Noddy instead. But Rowe was wise enough not to panic and push out on it. Makes the save comfortably, and he'll have a chance to get this ball. He's going to take it to the wall over there, and he knocks it into the middle. Is anyone up? CLJ, not quite there. And as these final seconds tick down, we look like we could be getting overtime again in Game 2.
Absolutely, as a little dunk there from Rowe, but it is quite difficult now. I mean, it looks like Northern Lions are finally starting to be able to create some sort of pressure, but as I say that, the Liverpool defense still, outside of these 2 slight hiccups there, and maybe, yeah, I mean, it's not even been a big mistake. Just off touches. They look
my
pretty
goodness.
strong, but Wambo, I mean, as soon as they get into offense, they remind me a bit of what's the name of the team that we just saw in Group B?
UEA.
Was it UEA? I think it was UEA. They
I have
remind
no
me
idea.
a bit of UEA.
The Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'll come
That's
back
high
to
praise.
that later.
That I can back it. I can definitely back it. They have been very reminiscent of them so far. It's not been as cohesive yet, but they're getting the wins. It's the clutch factor again, and as this overtime goes on, they seem to have had most of the pressure so far. Wambo's got the boost. Wambo's got the ball. That's not a combination you want to see if you're a Northern Lions fan. He's done quite well, but has just been blocked off by Sai again. A long time for the push from Northern Lions, and again, the confidence isn't there. They're not trying anything fancy. Rose got bumped, but they're pushing out in formation, these Arctic Foxes boys. Brilliant fake from Wambo. Pushes it into the left-hand corner. He might get back to that. He will. No one's going to score that, but DLJ's pushed it. It's going to be awkward for him. Sai's there. Doesn't get the touch. Wambo has to save Roe because Roe was being packed in the corner. That's a very, very risky commit from Noddy, but he had to make it, and make it he did. Roe tries to knock it back. Can't quite get it. That clear's gone very long. This overtime is end-to-end.
Yeah, and just to make that clear, I didn't mean UEA. Of course, I meant Bath. And in terms of offensive creativity and confidence,
and then the defensive crumble.
Yeah.
But we nearly saw it there.
So far, it's still working out for them. I mean, yes, this is the second game, right? This has been going on for so long. I kind of lost track
we've had
here.
2 overtimes, so we are now approaching 3 total games, but we're
and
still
they can
only
still
on
make
the
this a
second
match
one.
point game.
Definitely, and I think really from there, the world is their oyster to coin. Well, it's not to coin, to use an idiom that no one will have ever heard of. But Roe's going to try and make that reality. Knocks it off the backboard. Sai's there. They've retreated now. Sai's got space. That's not something you want to see. He's trying to emulate Roe, and he can't quite do it. But Wambo's going to knock that into the corner. That's going to come straight off the ceiling. Roe's going to have it. What's Wambo going to do? Absolutely nothing, but I think that confused Roe about as much as everyone else, so Noddy's going to push that into the corner. He might have the flick, he didn't quite get it around Roe. Wambo John looks to put it into the middle, does that, but there's no one there to follow it except himself, so follow it he will. He's not going to get to that though, and now Sai is up. Wambo's gone for the demo, which is bold of him considering which way the ball's going and how quickly it's doing it, but another demo from him could prove crucial. Roe knocks it off the side wall. Noddy's going to be first there, and still neither team really getting prolonged periods of opposition possession in their half.
Yeah, both of them were kind of scared. Now, the longer this overtime is
really
going,
do start get a bit nervy, don't you?
Yeah, but like we've seen both teams putting 2 players at the very far end of their own half to protect the goal and to sort of answer these long clears. But this also leads to the point to the moment where. Yeah, we don't really have any offense going on either side because it relies on one player making a big play or one defense to really, miss a ball like that.
And it was very nearly a big miss. Wambo, I think, probably had more time than he realised, and he'll probably not want to watch that one back before he goes to bed at night. But Roe knocks that into the corner. Sai looking to get it out. He will get it out. That's a good flick. CLJ should be first to that, and he is. Stuffs 2 opposing players onto that ball and still gets to clear out into the corner. Knocks that out to Roe. Roe looks for Wambo. This is brilliant passing, but Sai is well set and ready to make the save. There isn't anyone there at the moment, except Noddy manages to avoid the bump. Wambo was just trying to stop him by parking in front, but didn't quite manage to make it work. And 4 minutes of overtime now, and still really could be either team's game.
Yeah, Coconut had a great opportunity there.
Oh, big demo.
Sort of open it. And a bump.
And
that is huge from Sai.
Awkward position. What a touch. Not even sure he would have anticipated the second one coming off there. Still not out of the woods yet, the Arctic Foxes. Wambo's going to push for this, and he's going to get there because, again, that characteristic drop back from the Northern Lions means there's lots of space in the midfield for Roe to exploit. Lots of space on the midfield means lots of coverage on the backboard, and that will serve them well as Sai knocks it long. Noddy looks for Sai again and then clears Sai back, and Noddy's demoed. That'll give them time. Coconut pushes up, which was good of him to do, and Sai might get back to this. He's not going to have the boost. That's over the bar. It's over the bar.
Triple
all
commit.
3 Arctic Foxes players have gone over the bar looking for it, but it seems to have worked out for them so far. That's not in yet, but it very well could be off the corner, and we're just about to hit another full game in this overtime alone. Wambo knocks it straight down. CLJ's up, but no one's going to get to it. Key bump ensures that the Arctic Foxes remain unscathed.
This is insane. This whole overtime, if we get another double demo here, 2 for 2. But it's... I mean, yeah, at some point, some team has to force something in this game. Otherwise, it's just going to go on forever. But Northern Lions were very close a bunch of times now in the past 1 or 2 minutes. But we still see Liverpool going for these demos, going for these bombs, trying to disrupt this defensive stance there from Northern Lions. But
yeah,
not
and
really
it's
making any
so
out of
far.
it.
I mean, one thing that has to be
does.
said is that this Liverpool team, if this was Bath that we were watching, I don't mean any ill will to the boys who play, but I think the Bath we saw earlier tonight would not have lasted 6 minutes in an overtime against these Northern Lions players, and lasted it so well, the Liverpool team have as well, and now they're on the offense. Wambo's there, but not quickly enough. Rose now got the chance. Is that going to be a doink from Wambo? It is. That might be on target. It just comes off the post. The CLJ is there, off the bar. Scouts boys are trying to complete a woodwork challenge, but what they really need to do is score. We're approaching 6.5 minutes of overtime now. Wambo off to the right-hand side. He'll get the pinch, but it's not what he would have hoped for. CLJ forced back. Off the backboard it goes. Straight to Noddy. CLJ doesn't quite get the killer dunk. Off the backboard it goes again. Sai down into his own corner. Coconut gets there. Rowe, that's an awkward one for him. Too low on the backboard for him to really get any distance on the clear. And again, they're pushing. Noddy's going to get that. He won't get the dunk over both of them, but it's in a very awkward position now for the Arctic Foxes.
The boost steal. Crucial there from Coconut. This will put so much pressure.
What a save!
But what a save from CLJ. I think he was the only one left with boost on the defense there, and that was so important.
I think one thing, and it's specific, I'll give you that, but one thing this Arctic Foxes side is doing better than pretty much any other team I think I've seen in this tournament so far is the one-man clears. A lot of these teams go for two-man clears, and I think that's the sort of prevailing, almost meta game, is that you lay it off for a pass and someone else launches it downfield. I don't think I've seen a team do one-man clears as well as this Scouts team have. They've every time had air carries perfectly lined up, ready to just launch it down the field, but also keep control of the ball the whole way. We've seen Rowe do it, we've seen Wambo John do it most recently. CLJ looks for the outlet pass this time, doesn't quite make it, but he'll make that. Wambo's there.
What a touch!
It's off the post, and there's not going to be a follow-up. Noddy is there, and Noddy's there again as well, so that's forcing them back. We're going to hit 8 minutes of overtime in this game too.
I do not believe it. This is insane, and I mean, at this point, it just comes down to nerves, to concentration, because you can't keep focused. You can't stay focused for that long in a game of Rocket League. So at some point, one team is gonna slip up, is gonna make a mistake, but who's it gonna be? Because so far it looks like neither of them is gonna do it. Both defenses are putting out clutch saves in crucial plays when it matters.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. It's going to come down to more of a mistake, I think, than a crucial play. The nerves are creeping in, and if it is a Northern Lions mistake, it's going to be a mental landmine, but it might not be. Sai shuts me up with 8.5 minutes extra on the clock, and after a killer overtime, Northern Lions level the series. We were saying it before. The win can be after an overtime of any length. It just needs to be a win, and they're one step closer to it now.
I mean, this must have been exhausting for both these teams. So
I'm exhausted.
I mean, you've been talking a lot in these.
I'm not going to speak tomorrow, so no one try and arrange anything with me tomorrow. I won't be speaking.
I mean, this is just. I mean, after an overtime like that, especially, anything can happen. I mean, of course, it's. I mean, it's heartbreaking for Liverpool. Yes, I mean, these stats are absolutely skewed by the fact that we've just had a 8.5 minute overtime.
5 shots on the side of Northern Lions, 17 for Arctic Foxes. It's nothing short of incredible.
It's not even that much, given the fact that we basically almost had 3 games.
Yeah,
in
it
a
was
row.
at least 2.5. So you're right, but you don't normally see one player with 2 assists, 5 saves, and 12 shots to his name on one scoreboard. That's rather unusual, and several of these players pushing 1,000 points as well. Shows you how mechanical these guys are. They're really going for touches, and like I said, I was still very impressed with how Scout Sports handled their one-man clears, knocking it down, keeping control of the ball, getting the aerial clears very well, and I think Rowe's aerial control is second to none on this pitch at the moment. He's just had everyone on stringed.
Yes. And I mean, if they had gotten a bit luckier there, and at one of those two scenarios where they hit the crossbar, they could have won that game as well. I mean, it looked like the chances they created in overtime were actually a lot better and a lot more promising than the ones that the Northern Lions had.
Yeah.
But in the end, they kept up the pressure most of the time, and at some point, as we said, it will happen. There will be a touch, there will be a misrotation that will lead to an open net, and Sai was there to punish it. But yeah, if one of those touches, if one of those shots goes just slightly more to the left or to the right, or is a bit lower, then this is a game for Liverpool, because they had these opportunities, and then we're down to 2-0 series, and all of a sudden Northern Lions have to reverse sweep then. So it's crucial for them, for the Dutch team, to get this equalizer in this series, because as we said, they will have to win this one no matter how. But reverse sweeping them after a almost 9-minute overtime, that would have been, I mean, that would have already been the nail in the coffin.
Yes, I think you might have been right, but like you say, they got the win. I think the main factor now is probably going to be fatigue, and Rowe already showing a little bit of signs of that as he commits for that. He probably didn't need to. CLJ was well set behind him, and it's going to cause a lot of problems already. This Scouse team on the defensive side, but again, CLJ, just a one-man carry, doesn't quite have enough boost to follow it. That's a brilliant own goal. You'll never see a better own goal than that in your life. I believe Wambo John is the unlucky recipient of that award.
What is that angle?
You see his name tag from him flying past so quick, but yes, it was. Well, if you score that on the other person's net, you're a hero. Unfortunately, Wambo John has sealed an own goal of the century performance there, but not what you want to see for him. He's going to look to redeem himself. That's a great demo. None of us can see what's happening now, not even the people casting. Noddy's one-on-one with Rowe, and he's going to slot it home. The Northern Lions really warming up now.
What a start after such an overtime.
They're releasing all their pent-up goals.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, super unfortunate for Wambo and the Arctic Foxes, of course, but I mean, who could have expected that touch out of Wambo?
I don't think even Wambo would have expected anything like that touch out of Wambo, but still plenty of time left. They're obviously 2 goals down, but they've still got 4 minutes left on the clock, and defense like that is really going to help them get them back. All sorts of trouble here. Noddy's going to take control, keep it calm. He does well, but not quite well enough to get it past Wambo, but he's not going to dribble everyone backwards. Rowe, straight into that. Knocks it into the right-hand corner. Is there someone following in for Scouse here? Not quite. Stein knocks it clear. Wambo's a bit far forward, and it's left CLJ in a very awkward position, and he's made a very awkward touch. Rowe with some goal line heroics there to make sure that this is still winnable for the Arctic Foxes here, and Sai will take this into the corner, but there's still plenty to play for here for the boys in blue.
Yeah, what a save there from Rowe. I mean, this was almost a done goal already, but Sai was robbed by Rowe, and Wambo making up for his own goal now. I mean, defense has looked promising for the Foxes so far in this series.
It's a fantastic own goal, you're right. It's been much better showing. I mean, again, it's easy, isn't it, I think, when you're watching a game like this, actually what this defense is relatively scrappy, because they're making loads of goal line saves, and that bump on Wambo John, bit of a taste of his own medicine there. He won't be happy, but the Northern Lions squad will. 3-0.
Yeah, beautiful bump play there from Sai. I mean, he read it perfectly, and I mean, it's just a slight little touch onto the back wheel of Wambo, but it's enough to completely
Those are often some of the most derailing bumps, because it just turns your car completely around and kills all your momentum. But as I was saying, the defense is good to watch from a casting perspective from Arctic Foxes. There's lots of diving saves and last-minute clearances. Objectively, that's not what you aim for as good defense. You want to stop shots coming in, not hook shots off your goal line 3 times a minute. So I think the Scouse team here are going to be trying to, I was going to say not concede. You know what? Doesn't matter. That's 4-0 now to the Northern Lions, and there's just over half the game to go, but they're taking a commanding lead here.
Yeah, it looks like the levees break here for the Arctic Foxes, and goals come flooding in for the Northern Lions.
I'd be used to flooding in the Netherlands, I'd imagine, although that one's just gone straight through. I don't know how that one was left so long, and there's a big demo there. They might get one back. Wambo not having any of that, being dethroned as the bump king of this lobby, and he's just cleared out the goal line, and it might work for him here. Oh, what a save from Noddy. It's not going to be enough as Rowe knocks it in, and the ball disappears in a puff of smoke. 4-1.
Yeah, a bit of a team bump there as well, but
what
I mean,
a save.
This is just insane.
Didn't even get credited for it either, but that was a brilliant save from Noddy.
I don't know if it would have hit the post and maybe not go in, but nonetheless, it was just a great effort from Noddy. But I mean, still 3 goals separating these two teams, and to be fair, the Foxes didn't look as strong as they were last game, and even though Wambo is getting in a few of these shots, getting in some of these demos and bump plays, there hasn't been the same amount of pressure for them so far.
Very true. The Arctic Foxes team, I don't think, have really got that much worse. It just seems like the Northern Lions team seems to have got quite a lot better so far in this game 3, really buoyed by that late overtime winner, and it seems to have really carried them through this game 3, although of course there's still time left, and there's an empty net. CLJ just can't get to it quickly enough, but Rowe can. Not just again, not quite managed to make the save, and Arctic Foxes have halved the lead in just under a minute, and they've got a minute to cut it down again.
Yeah, but Wambo is really on a rampage right now. He's looking for even after this goal.
That's Wambo.
During the goal celebration, you still see him go for bumps and demos, but I mean, he's created these opportunities. You said it before. He did that last week as well in their win against the Durham Defenders.
Yeah,
and
huge disruptive play from him the whole time.
And he just realized that this is what he had.
Again, look at that.
Look at it, like the entirety of the defense. Such a
brilliant little microcosm of what it's like facing Rambo John. You see him on his player cam cause all 3 defenders to have to jump out of the way of him as he barrels across the goal line. That is why this is a huge part of the reason why this Arctic Foxes team are just so difficult to play, because you never know where he's going to be. He'll just appear behind you, and then suddenly you're out of the play. And that's one of the only things in Rocket League that can go so wrong for so long. You know, you make a bad touch and you can get back to it relatively quickly, but as Rose just demonstrated for me. But if you're a demo, you have no idea which side you're going to spawn on. You're going to be off the pitch for 3 seconds. You might not have any boost when you get back, and Wambo knows how potent that can be, and he's using it to great effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's probably not going to be enough to get them back into this game 3 unless Coconut,
question mark, but not quite. The final 10 seconds tick down. There. This time the save was made, and it's probably the most crucial one of them all. These seconds are going faster than the Arctic Foxes would like, and that will seal it. They're just going to let it drop. Northern Lions, 1 game away from taking 3rd spot in Group A.
Yeah, I mean, this is already a lot more exciting than I expected this game to be honest. Especially after this 8.5 minutes of overtime.
Yeah, I thought they'd be a bit wiped after that. I was.
But the Northern Lions really came back strongly from this exhausting game too. And I mean, they basically won it in the first 2 minutes, it felt like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they were up 4 goals pretty quickly.
Yeah, they were.
And after that, Liverpool tried to come back mainly off of Wambo, creating a lot of space and a lot of chaos
space by removing all the opposing players.
Removing players from the field. And it looks like this is the way to go against this Northern Lion team now. Because as soon as you take out one part of the defense, they look like they can't get back into position as quickly.
Yeah, their rotations... It's a good matchup for the Arctic Foxes in theory, in that they really like their demos. What we've seen of the Northern Lions so far shows you that, obviously no team likes a demo, but Northern Lions seem particularly averse to them. They really don't seem to cope with them very well. So Wamba's getting plenty of demos. but they're not really in crucial locations just yet. We might have to do another one of these dances that we saw at the start of Game 3, where all the players just repeatedly change teams until everyone's ready to start. But what a game crash, apparently. That's not what you want to see. And yes, here we go. The little tango begins on our screens. And
yeah, probably not for you guys
game
at home.
No, I'm sure that they'll be still on. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me to watch instead of this lovely little polka dance. But as we get into this game 4, of course, there's now going to be a lot of psychological pressure on these Northern Lions. Coconut comes back from his little crashing holiday, and we're about ready to start. But this is it now. It's, they've got 2 chances to win 1 game, and that's all they need to do. But if they can't do it, they have no more chances to do it ever again. That will be them out of EUR Summer. So plenty to play for here for the team in orange.
And of course, the Loughborough Lions watching this
nervously
will do their best to cheer them up and somehow make them win this game. But whew, Wambo already on the goal line, this time not to bump anyone, but to almost convert that one. And what
brilliant
from
Rowe. He doesn't quite get the credit for it. That's a very bold commit from CLJ, but it might just work. Wambo manages to hit that into the flipping car of Coconut. I'm not sure how much Coconut knew about that, but if he did know anything, it was very good. Rowe doesn't quite get the read off the ceiling. It was always going to be challenging, but promising start from the Liverpool team here. Coconut clears it. That was a great pinch clear. That's gone the length of the pitch, and it's a very awkward read for Wambo as well, who clears it pretty well himself. Knocks it straight to Rowe, and Noddy gets a second touch that I'm sure he knew nothing about. Rowe's right there. That was very bold, but it very nearly worked. And there's the first demo. I'm sure that won't be the last.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but we see quite a lot of offensive rotation now from the Arctic Foxes this game that we didn't see. Yeah, he tries to find him. Good attempt. He still goes for the challenge and finds it.
Brilliant from Rowe.
He's been everywhere on this
that is
offense.
UEA play. That is. I really like that from Rowe. Just following it up. He knows he can get it, so why not? He's the first player up, like we saw with Gopher. He dunked it over Vex at that way back in our first series. That feels like 3 years ago now. But yeah, why not go for that? You may as well. Worst case scenario, you're out of position and there are 2 people behind you ready. But best case scenario, you get a dunk like that, and it's brilliant. And Rose knows that, and he plays it very well. Now, here we go. Wambo John just takes the shot. I'm not sure anyone expected that, but it doesn't quite come off for him. That somehow managed to get a bump CLJ there on, I think it must have been Noddy, without hitting the ball, which is very clever, but it worked for them, and so he's going to keep going. He's now bumped Rowe, which is less fantastic, but in the confusion, Wambo John has snuck through. He won't get the read on that. Very clever attempt at a fake from Rowe, but it's not quite going to pan out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As long as you don't score these, there's still plenty of ways for Northern Lion to find that opening. They haven't had a single shot on goal so far. There's been 6 for the Arctic Foxes, but it's been halftime now. And I feel like they were missing out on a lot of these. They could have been in the lead already.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it will be a matter of if they now concede, they'll really come to rue some of the chances they've had. They've had perfectly good opportunities. This might be another one, but Coconut's up early and up well to save that away. CLJ's committed to that, and I think he was technically last man on that rotation. Rowe's going to buy some time, and he does that excellently. Leaves Wambo plenty of time and space to get to that ball, but it's not going to go anywhere that's nice for a Liverpool player. CLJ's got this off the backboard. No, he doesn't. Miscommunication, and Sai will take that all day long. Just under 2 minutes left. Northern Lions have the very last lead they'll need if they can hold on to it.
Yeah, it's a good first touch, and then he also gets a great recovery. Is hop high again to finish that off. But yeah, this you were mentioning already. This little hesitation, probably miscommunication there in defense, was that moment that he needed to be able to slip in there, and that, of course, is a bummer now for the Arctic Foxes, and this could very well become even worse off of something like that.
Rowe did well there. Again, just maintaining his cool. Someone probably told him that there was no one there, but I don't think that would have stopped me from just rushing at the ball with everything I had, and that was very well. There was good composure there from Rowe, and he's got good composure again here, and this is... Look at that. That is exactly what I mean about the one-man clear. No one else in the tournament's really trying that. CLJ might get to this first. Sai does brilliantly to clear it away. And now Noddy's up and he's beaten Rowe out. So this is just really a one-on-one. It might be a two-on-one if Coconut can get in quickly enough, but Wambo's there quick and he does well. Gets over Sai, but not him. Sai's adopting the old football style of defending, either the ball or the man, but not both. Here we go again. Wambo, boost, and ball. Where have I seen this before? He might do something well with this here. He goes for the flip. It was very nearly a brilliant fake 2-up from the Northern Lions, who were both nearly sold on that, but just managed to get a touch. Rowe to Noddy, unfortunately for him. Now, this could be it for the Northern Lions. They need one more goal to really feel secure, otherwise it will go down into that golden goal territory on the buzzer beater. Wambo John, up, off the ceiling. CLJ's got a free shot at this, but there's a very comfortably positioned Coconut in the goal, who's now up the wall. Is he going to get back to that? It looks unlikely. Rose launched that a long way. It's made it awkward for Sai, but he's more than capable of dealing with it. Rowe knocks that in. Wambo's there, and it's in off the post, and the Arctic Foxes have equalised with just under 20 seconds to go.
Are we actually going to game 5 now? I hope we're not going to a 10-minute overtime again in this 4th game, but...
You'd only have yourself to blame, Crafty.
Wambo, with the effort, I mean, they tried it so many times. They missed out on so many opportunities. They finally find that opening, and now it's only 15 seconds left to play. Can Northern Lions create something?
It's nervy. It's very nervy from Liverpool at the moment, but they seem to have got out with it okay. CLJ might not still row. It could start becoming quite nervy for the Northern Lions. He's going to chase that into the corner. Is he going to get it? Yes, he's chosen to keep that up. Was that a wise decision? Well, only time will tell, because now Noddy is on the ball. Will he get to that again? Yes, but not again. So now we're in a familiar territory. Overtime we go.
Sit back and enjoy. Another 8.5 minutes of overtime.
Third in 4 games, I believe. First game went to overtime. The second game was incredibly long, and only the third game managed not to have any. So here we are again. These two teams so evenly matched, but the Northern Lions won't care how even it was if they come out with a goal here. That's all they need. One goal. Could this be it? Coconut looking for the double. It won't matter. Noddy has done it. He uses the last of his boost, and with that, he puts the Northern Lions through over Loughborough into the playoff stages of this EUR summer split.
I mean, this is exactly what I wanted to see from them. They start out a lot more aggressive in this overtime after we had a 8-minute slugfest last time. Yeah. But this time around, Northern Lions really finishing it quickly. And I mean, looking at the shots, it's what I basically said early on in this game. Liverpool had their chances, putting out 9 to 5 shots in their favor through the course of this game, but they couldn't really convert on those crucial ones. And to be fair, I mean, there was some good defensive efforts as well, but it feels like, I mean, Wambo was hitting more posts than the British football national team in a penalty shootout. So,
I know.
This
How long have you been saving that one up? Has that been on your little notepad for the last 3 weeks? Waiting?
No, I actually just came up with that, but I'm glad I did.
It's good. It's good. It is good as well. I mean, that will now have confirmed the playoffs bracket, which has now just been populated. They're quick behind the scenes here. So, take a quick run through of the playoffs, which are, of course, happening on Sunday afternoon. That's this Sunday. We'll be starting at 2 p.m. BST, which is 3 p.m. for you folks in Europe. We'll be starting, I believe, with the Northern Lions that we've just seen, taking on the UEA Blue Jays. Crafty, what's your thoughts on that? Let's do a few predictions before we wrap up.
No, it's... Wait, we have the UEA Blue Jays not in first? I'm kind of confused.
That doesn't seem quite right, does it? To me, that looks like a little bit of a miscalculation.
Yeah.
Oh no, because UEA lost to Warwick. You're correct. That's quite right. UEA have forfeited their first place that was pretty much all but clinched by getting reverse swept by Warwick. Rotterdam had the much better game record. Well, I say much better. It was 17-6 or 17-7, but that's better enough.
That is unfortunate, of course. I mean, not only did it put Warwick into playoffs and kicked out Tennessee, it also meant that Blue Jays basically forfeited their first round bye. And
a word on kit, I feel, is necessary at this point. We didn't really do much else other than bring the live score update as it happened. But Warwick take that 5-2 place. We'll talk about their matches coming up shortly. But
I mean, the Blue
kit,
Jays,
that is a horror. That's a bitter pill to swallow. They lost to Rotterdam. and they didn't have to lose to that Rotterdam side either. It wasn't necessary. It was a very close series, and they probably will feel like they could have won that. UEA played brilliantly. Tilburg will hurt. Tilburg will really hurt that Kit side, and it's horribly unfortunate for them.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we didn't expect this game to be that much of a factor for Kit.
No, I remember distinctly last week we talked about it and we said, well, that's a bit of a blip, but now it's 6-1, and unfortunately for Kit, it wasn't. These two teams, Rotterdam and UEA, showed up more than I think we expected them to. And then, it has unfortunately just come down to that, which is heartbreaking for them. Just to lose on a technicality is never enjoyable, obviously, and it's grim for them.
Especially after a URC in spring that was dominated by German and Dutch teams, to only have one German team left in this summer series. And
I think they're quite a good one.
Yeah, it's quite a good one still, but of course, man. I mean, there were 3 German teams in top 8 of URC, and I think there was only 1 or 2 British teams left in the final 8. To have the majority of these teams being from NSC now shows that they're at least worked on what they had to work on, and improved from spring to summer.
Yeah, no, they really have. And like you say, half the teams in this are British. But worth remembering, of course, that no more than 2 of them are going to make the semi-finals.
Yeah.
They could. It is, in theory, possible to have an all-British final. We'll get to this as we go through. So we're looking first at match A on this playoffs. We're going best of 7s, I believe, all afternoon long on Sunday. At least I'm going to assume we are until I'm corrected. UEA Blue Jays against the Northern Lions. Crafty, who would you like to... Who do you see winning in that matchup?
It has to be UEA Blue Jays, right? I mean, their performance in Group B has been absolutely stellar. They beat all the teams that you would not expect them to beat, and they finally lost against Warwick, which we also did not expect. So that might show some dent in their performance there. I don't know if they.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's been. I was really confident about the Blue Jays, and now that they've lost to Warwick, there's a little niggle of doubt in my mind. I think, though, or what I'm going to tell myself so that I can sleep at night, is that was because they had little to play for. They'd assured themselves qualification. They just took their foot off the gas a little bit. Now, of course, it's do or die. That Northern Lions team will have to step their game up a bit to meet the UEA that we've seen today. If those two teams, as we've seen them today, played each other, I can't see it going the way of Northern Lions personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was something to play for the Blue Jays. They could have avoided Berlin Phoenix up until the finals.
That's true.
They do now have to face them if they win this. So.
Yes, so we'll follow that through, shall we? Assuming UEA Blue Jays get through into match C against Berlin Phoenix, is that doable for them?
I don't think so. I mean, it's so hard. And then again, it's Berlin Phoenix without Tigray, and now
it was Berlin Phoenix without Tigray today.
Yeah, but then I feel like if the Blue Jays are able to perform the way that they performed against teams like KDC and Rotterdam, those 2 matches that we saw today and last week, I believe. Yeah, then I do believe that they have it in them to beat a team like Berlin Phoenix without Tigray, and on a day where NACFlow is not completely 1v5 the entire match.
Yeah.
So
no, it's true. I think really to sort of encapsulate what you just said, if there's a team in this bracket who are going to dump out Berlin Phoenix in a shock victory upset, it's going to be the Blue Jays. Yeah. I think that is the truth of it. For me, is that I don't see another team showing up so solidly and playing so consistently, insanely, as we've seen the Blue Jays do from time to time, that if they come in hot from that series, they'll have had the warm-up, of course, against the Northern Lions, provided that we're right and they make it through.
Yeah,
could be the edge they need, and it's possible,
absolutely.
But you have to give the edge to Berlin Phoenix there. So we've got Berlin Phoenix, perhaps as a surprise to no one, as our first spot in the final. If we follow through, we've got Portsmouth versus Warwick. What do you reckon might happen down in match B over there?
be fair, I don't think I've seen a single game of the Paladins in this summer campaign so far.
In NSE Summer, they went 11 wins and a loss.
Yeah,
so they
then
came
again,
undisputed top.
I've seen a couple games from them in the past, and I would expect them to. In this scenario, I would even expect them to maybe advance to the finals.
It's going to be tricky. That one, I think, that match D down there, on paper, is going to be by far the most competitive match of the four before the final, I think.
I mean,
all of the others, you can say UEA should win. Not that they will, but they should. You can say Berlin should win. You can say Portsmouth should win. If they get through, it's going to be tricky. Rotterdam knocked Portsmouth out last time. Whether Portsmouth have now got enough behind them to turn that around, I honestly couldn't tell you. This is the interesting thing, of course, about the international matchups. They play each other so rarely.
Yeah.
That they're in their own little bubbles, and you can say, well, Portsmouth beat all the British teams, but Rotterdam aren't a British team. So it would be impossible to say. But do you then, regardless, we'll leave that one blank. The viewers at home can fill in that one in their own heads. Are Berlin going to beat either or both of those teams in the final?
I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, they beat Portsmouth in group stage.
Yes, they
and
did.
Completely swept them.
Quite comfortably.
It's been a 3-0. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was with Tigray again. So
yeah, it's worth remembering.
That's that. But and I don't know how well Portsmouth were feeling on that day, and whether they had their main roster. I don't know. But of course, that has to be said. So Berlin seems to be the favorite still in the final against either Rotterdam or Portsmouth, but we also haven't seen Rotterdam play with Kallio.
That's true.
And they were able to beat Kiddersi 3-1 on Tuesday with Kallio, which I don't think... I mean, Berlin lost their last best of 5 against Kiddersi during regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, they then went on to win the final 4-1. So
yes, again, I think maybe that's a foot off the gas kind of problem.
But then I feel like if Rotterdam wins against Portsmouth, I feel like they have the best chance to actually win against Berlin. If Portsmouth wins against Rotterdam, I don't feel like they stand.
Yeah, I can see what you
chance.
mean. Because of the play style, it would be different, I think.
Yeah, if I think of the play style, I feel like Rotterdam is what could potentially threaten Berlin Phoenix. I feel like Berlin Phoenix would figure out Portsmouth Paladins
quite quickly.
And Nakflo would be able to pop off more often. And
and I would back my original assertion that if anyone's going to knock out the Berlin Phoenix, it is going to be UEA. I'm on their train fully now, despite their questionable performance against Warwick that I personally didn't see.
Yeah, it's just the most coherent performance we've seen so far from a team.
Yeah, I think them and Berlin Phoenix are the two that you can sort of really say, well, they didn't really have a bad game. They've obviously UEA had one right at the end, but it didn't really matter for them. They'd already played 2 quite grueling series so far tonight. You can, obviously I can make excuses for them all day long. Maybe it was just a bit rubbish, but I still think they will be the biggest challenge to the Berlin Phoenix. But of course, there's only going to be one way to find out. I think that will do it for us from tonight. We have seen 4 fantastic series and watched playoff bracket populate itself. It went right down to the wire. Couldn't have written a better script. And that final 6 will start 2 p.m. BST, 3 p.m. CEST on Sunday, August the 9th. That's just 3 days from now. So for now, I will say thank you very much to Crafty.
Thank you for having me once again. Thanks for casting alongside you.
No, it's been really good fun. And we will see you for the grand finals of EUR Summer this Sunday. So thank you very much for watching and have an excellent night.
like it was built to break off the handle. How'd we get to this place? We're leaving everything behind for new and exciting.